Brett Perigo, tonight's second place finisher. Plenty of fans here, Brett, and a solid second place finish.
Yeah, I got to shout out the Turn 2 Terribles over there. They're all a bunch of good guys to hang out with and talk to. I really like them.
How are you doing tonight, man?
Hey, I'm talking here. You know who you're talking to? Macho Man! I'm on my way to Monday Night Raw.
How I want to answer the second one.
Your choice.
It's a trap.
I feel like it is. I feel like he's setting up fights in the front stretch. Is what he's trying to do.
Speedway. We've got Devin Borden with us.
At Keen Motorsports Shop here with Kyle Keen.
Sitting here with Sean Keen. We're going to talk a little bit about racing history.
Yep.
Monday, July 7th, 2025. What's going on? I am Jimmy here with Jay-Z and Franklin. We are the Turn 2 Terribles. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us this evening. We got a lot to talk about. The entire PA Speedweek. We're going to recap all of it. Good, bad, ugly, mostly, pretty much. It was all good, I think. Couple things, though, and we're going to go over that. We're also going to go revisit our preseason predictions. We made our bold predictions, and then we also did over-under predictions on wins for guys. We're going to revisit those and see how they're faring. And we'll take a look at this upcoming weekend and beyond on what's going on around here. Plus, we got Crown Jewel coming up with Kings Royal in about a week. So, Jay-Z, Franklin, how you guys doing?
I don't know what Jay-Z's saying. I think he's.
I think you're muted. There you go.
I got nothing. I'm good. I know who I am. I know what I'm doing here. I don't know what else is going on around here. But I figured even inside, I can't get sunburnt with this one because I got plenty of sun this weekend, mostly yesterday. So I figured I might as well just keep this on in the shade too.
Just to be safe.
Yeah.
You never know. Good stuff.
Franklin, how was your Speedweek?
I had a great time.
Oh, okay.
Back, boys.
All right. Good show. Yeah. Thanks for coming.
No, Speedweek was fun. I mean, I got to actually watch every race, and this weekend was obviously a bender from Williams Grove to Latrobe to Path Valley. So that's a new one.
Latrobe.
It was an experience, and that might be why I have a new name now.
Well, we're going to get into all that and some more. I just want to shout out some fans here. Randy, Marie, what's going on? Mandy, EJ, Brandon, Curtis, what's going on? Curtis says Jay-Z was in his Glory Friday talking with Marks. Brian, what's going on? we did a show on Wednesday night, and there's a lot of first-time viewers. So if this is your first time tuning into our regular show, we really appreciate it. And if you're tuning in the day after, we appreciate you as well. But without further rambling here, let's go ahead and get right into PA Speedweek. And we're going to start at Danny Dietrich Motor Speedway. BAPS Motor Speedway. But seems like this guy is the only guy to win there. Just absolutely dominant. The first 2 nights of PA Speedweek got rained out. Williams Grove Friday, Lincoln on Saturday, both got rained out. And then we're like, oh man, here we go. Just as much as we've been dealing with rain all year, we were hoping it didn't bleed into Speed Week, but actually it ended up being pretty good after that. BAPS was beautiful on that Sunday, where Danny Dietrich got the win over Chase Dietz, Ryan Smith, Freddie Raymer, and Anthony Macri. Your quick time was Ryan Smith. Your hard charger finishing 12th was Lance DeWeese, and your heat race winners were Danny, Freddie, Chase Dietz, and Troy Wagaman Jr. Thoughts from this race?
I was impressed with Ryan Smith all week. This race as well. You said it right. Danny's really good at BAPS, and I kind of thought Chase would be there. And in years past, Freddie and Anthony Macri were, contenders. And you go back to the final showdown, Brock won that, right? So I kind of had high expectations for them, and they're all there. But Danny Dietrich just kind of carried his Ohio Speedweek momentum right into PA Speedweek.
Yeah, and obviously, it helps with. He's just been so good at BAPS, not just this year, just in general. It's for years now. It's just that's why I made the joke. It's Danny Dietrich Motor Speedway until somebody else proves otherwise, because it doesn't seem like it matters who's there, and where he starts, he finds a way to the front. But it was a very, very pretty good race. Anthony Macri went from 11th to 5th. Rounding out the top 10 was Cameron Smith, Troy Wagaman Jr., Brock Zierfoss, Jar McIntyre, and Ryan Newton, rounding out the top 10. JC, you good?
Yeah. Okay. No echo. Sounds good.
No, yeah, it sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah,
his forehead matches his wing panel, though. Continue on.
I'm telling you, oh man, back of my neck, it was crazy.
Yes.
That sun yesterday was brutal. This one, thinking back, Danny started 4th. He was on kill from lap 1. Like he wasn't waiting. He wasn't waiting for the car to come to him. He was just going, and he was going in a hurry. So, not a surprise. The dominance continues, and we're gonna get into the points when we're done here, but you're gonna see a recurring theme, through this, and this is what we expected. It was the Danny and Macri show, pretty much all the Speed Week, but there were some other names up here we expected, and there's a few that okay, all right, we'll see what's going on, right? So I think last year was the same way. I think this year it was a little different to the 2 people that I have in my mind, but yeah, it's Danny's world, and we're just living in it at BAPS.
Yeah. Also, Billy Dietrich went from 22nd to 13th. Just missed out on the hard charger just because Lance finished ahead of him, but both really impressive runs by both of those guys. Logan Rumsey, P14. Lucas Wolf started 2nd in this one. And I thought he had a pretty impressive speed. We'll probably talk about that a little bit more at the end, but he fell back there, but he was competitive all week, fast early in the night. And this race didn't go his way, but he had some other good races here throughout the week. But really, at the end of the day, this was just nothing much more to say other than really Danny. It's just, he's just so dominant there. It's super impressive. Let's roll right into Lincoln on Monday then, where maybe the first little bit of controversy for the week happens. Freddie Raymer wins over Anthony Macri, Aaron Bollinger, Cody Hartlob, and Cameron Smith. Danny Dietrich comes 6th, Kyle Larson 7th, Logan Rumsey with the top 10 in 8th. Troy Wagaman Jr. 9th, and Lucas Wolf with a top 10, finishing 10th. Your quick time was Cody Hartlob. Hard charger was Tyler Walker. And then your heat race winners were Brock Searfoss, Aaron Bollinger, Logan Rumsey, and Freddie Raymer. Now, this one got cut a little short, 5 laps short, because of when the red flag came out for, I believe it was Matt Campbell, it started to rain. Not crazy, but enough for them to put the cars in. Well, no, there wasn't a red, it was a yellow. I'm sorry. But either way, it was enough to take the cars into the pits, and then they were trying to get them back out there, and then there was more thundering and lightning, and they just called it from there. But all in all, really impressive from Freddie, I think, here, because Macri was leading this one, and he and Freddie just drove straight up past him. Which is not something you see happen with Macri here in Central PA.
And I think it was a Freddie Raymer of a couple of years ago where he pretty much won every race at Lincoln. It kind of looked that way, the way he was driving on Monday. It's funny you mentioned at the first bit of controversy. It's been so long and so much other nonsense since then. I forgot about this.
Right.
So anyone mad, he just called this a fuel stop that ended the night, whatever. Yeah, it's an impressive drive. I mean, and I think the same thing happened we get to late with Lance. Passing Anthony Macri these days is kind of how we thought passing Freddie Raymer at Lincoln was 2 years ago, or passing Kyle Larson in a sprint car ever was 4 years ago. So that's impressive for sure, and especially for that team. I think Freddie's doing his consistency week in, week out, kind of there, but not the flashy winning thing as much as before, and is back in the 51, but the speed's there.
Yeah, yeah. I want to say that like we shouldn't be surprised, but I was. You pass Anthony Macri anywhere for the lead
too. It wasn't like it was
anywhere.
Lap traffic, really.
Yeah, like we shouldn't be surprised, but it's Anthony Macri, and he gets the lead. It's a stranglehold, right? Like it's over. Like, hey, it's a wash. They came off 4, and I was in 3 and 4, and I'm like, Freddie's leading. What happened? How did this happen? And then he was just better. He was the best car at the end. It really started to get around the bottom on both ends. It really wasn't much going on. And when Matt Campbell, that red flag came out, there was a group of us there, and we're all like, well, why are we not just ending this? It's 5 to go. There's rubber down, or it looked like it, and nobody was going anywhere. They're all single file. There's no second lane to make a pass in. What are we doing here? Just this is over. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
We actually going to try to go? And the rain was pretty light. And at one point I walked out onto the track to like check it. A couple laps, like just pushing cars around, rolling, they would have been good. But when the rain let up, the lightning got real bright.
You could see it on flow too. Like it was the sky in the back was just white, like with lightning.
It was legitimately close. And we were all like, they're really going to wait out for 5 laps? Like, with this racetrack? It wasn't like this racetrack was 2 lanes, arguably the worst surface of the year, but almost intentionally, because they packed it in so hard because they were prepping for rain that we just didn't get. It was only miles away. When I got there, I drove through rain from east to west, and it was forming like a few miles east of the racetrack and moving east. They got lucky to even get this in.
Yes.
If anybody really felt like this was taken from anyone, they're just not fans of the 51. That's simple as that. Like this was, there was no, if it was 2 lanes and it had been a barn burner and they were sliding each other, we'd all been like, damn, I wish we could see those last 5 laps. But you're fooling yourself if you think that it was just going to be like a slider fest the last 5.
Right.
It was not. So like this race was over. It was over. They got 30 of the 35 laps in, or 25 of the 30, whatever the number was. Like, it's just silly. So Freddie did his job. Best car. Finished it off. Got the win.
Yeah, and I think that is something that gets overlooked a little bit, is that the fact that they even got this in. They did a great job of getting this in. They moved things along all night long. People made jokes and I agree. And like, hey, why can't we do this more often? I mean, obviously you don't have a support class, so it goes a little bit faster, but they really did everything they could to make sure that it got in, up, including the track prep. You know, I don't think the track would normally be like that, but it wanted to be able to, with, you know, all what happened on Saturday. Let's revisit that. Is, hey, they got halfway through time trials and they got a quick 10-minute storm and they just couldn't get it ran back in. And, you know, I don't know if it rained there the rest of the night, but I mean, obviously it was going to take like another hour at least, if not 2, to try to get that track worked into a raceable surface. And it just wasn't happening.
And you're going to dodge more rain. We were all watching the radar. I remember now because, Jay-Z, you were at Lincoln. I was at Port. We watched a storm come into the valley at Port Royal for the Blue Collar Classic, and it never got to the track. It dissipated and went around the speedway and the Port Royal magic that happens. And I hit rain all the way into there. We never got rain again. Lincoln was dodging scattered showers all night. You get run back in, and you said that you were watching the flow, and the trucks were spinning and sliding and grinding.
Yeah.
Like one more rainstorm would have ended it anyway.
Well, guys, here's the difference between the 2 nights. Lincoln started Saturday night in mud. That track they could barely get, like, the extreme stocks went out and it was mud. Like, been at Lincoln before when it's a little bit like greasy and it needs laps on it. This was straight mud. And then they got it going a little bit, and by time trials, the track was pretty fast and it was pretty good. But it was never going to take a rainstorm. It was never going to take a rain shower. It would have. And then when the rain ended, the sun didn't come back out, and it was just 100% humidity. There was no way it was going to
There's
work.
no way. Nope.
Get there on Monday, they packed it in, prepped it for some rain. It would just run off, and it never rained. So, you know, Fred did what he could. Fred did everything right. The track did everything right that we got to see a race.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shout out, Lincoln.
I agree.
Great job.
Yeah. They had to, you know, it's not ideal, but I mean, when you're not dealing with ideal weather conditions, you got to do what you got to do. And I think they did a great job on Monday. Leading up to Monday, I felt like the consensus between fans and maybe even some race teams and people involved, like anybody that we talked to, was just like, there's no way we're racing tonight.
Right.
There's no way. It's gonna get rained out. It's gonna happen. What happened on Saturday is gonna happen. That wasn't the case. They got lucky to miss the rain, but like we said, even if they got rain, at least earlier in the night, they probably were fine. It didn't happen until 5 laps to go, and at that point, you know, with thunder and lightning, and it is a Monday night, you still have to kind of take some of that stuff into account. And it was one lane. Like, it was one lane. It was just going to be a one lane. Most likely, it was just going to be probably just one lane on the bottom. But Lincoln still gave the effort to make sure, hey, let's try to get the schedule distance in. You know, even when people before they even called it were saying, hey, why are we even trying this? And then, of course, since it is Freddie that won, you get people complaining, hey, why did we not try? It wasn't raining that bad, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, so congratulations to Freddie. He earned that one. It was when it was still racy, he got around Macri, and then it did kind of become one lane, and he was able to just dominate from there on out. And then we had Tuesday, got rained out at Grandview. That did not happen. One last thing from Lincoln I do want to say. PA Speedweek pool, if anybody plays it, I was the top scorer on Lincoln that night. I had Raymer, I had Cam Smith, I had Logan Rumsey, a couple others. But just saying, top scorer here, baby.
That's why he's happy about it being called early. It was all benefiting Jimmy. Jimmy made the call.
I think even if Freddie doesn't win there and he finishes like second or third, I'm pretty sure I still had high score. But
no, I don't care what your truth is. You cancel the races.
But yeah, so Hagerstown got canceled. Freddie or Christopher Bell was supposed to run the 69K both Monday at Lincoln and Tuesday at Grandview, and they decided against it, him even coming out because of the rain. So that just to go to kind of lay into the point of like, we should be happy that we just saw a race on Monday and that Lincoln got one in. Very happy for that. And then we go to Port Royal on Wednesday, where Anthony Macri gets the win over Kyle Larson, Chase Dietz, Ryan Smith, and Logan Wagner, your top 5. AJ Flick finishes 16th from 17th place, who was your hard charger. Lance DeWeese, Danny Dietrich, TJ Stutz, and Justin Whittle Round out your top 10. Your quick time was Chase Dietz, and your heat race winners were Justin Whittle, Brian Smith, Anthony Macri, and Lance DeWeese. Some controversy in this one. This is why, and we're not going to go rehash this entire thing because we did a live show right after. Just kind of reacting to it. Anthony got bailed out a little bit, but he was still, I think, 90 to 95% of that race, he was still the best car, my opinion. Kyle Larson was right there. He was going to give him some hell there at the end. There's some controversy with Macri. He was spinning after the red to come to a stop. They're like, why did he get to keep his spot and that was like a conversation that felt like all week long with some people where it's like, well, why did Macri get to keep his spot, but this guy doesn't, this and that. And I get it, but I think circumstances were different in Anthony's case, for pretty clear. But yeah, Kyle Larson, always tough when he comes in the PA. Glad to see him come in. He hasn't come in and really run too much PA Speed Week in 2 years? I don't think he came in at all last year. And maybe he ran 1 or 2 the year before, but yeah, this is a big win for Anthony though.
Yeah, I mean, Port Royal, you expect to see his name up there, and things went his way. Like, I don't know. Again, you can't be a bad car and win, but sometimes you're not the best car and win. I don't think he was the best car. I don't have to be right. That's just my opinion. But this is about what you'd expect here. Look at 39M, 57, 23, 69K, 55. Great run for AJ Flick. Holy crap, great run.
Yeah.
Lance Deweese, Danny Dietrich. I mean, it's the who's who of Port Royal, and if it's Speed Week time, you better get it right. And most of these guys are what we expected to see.
And my only thing was he touched on AJ Flick, the hard charger there. It's cool to see. Cool to see AJ get back to port and run well. He's a good guy.
Yeah. Well, and we'll see here later. He was pretty humbled the very next couple days later. So
that's what happened.
He made some mentions about on social media, like, yeah, that's racing. It's one night you feel pretty good when you leave the racetrack. A couple days later, you do the same thing, and it's not even close. So that's racing for you.
Dave Scott Smeltzer says the heat race with Dietz and Whittle was close. There were some good heat races in this one for sure. Yeah. But yeah, if you want more of our opinion on this night, go back and visit that stream. We basically talked all this stuff till we were blue in the face and then some. So I'm not going to hang around too much on it. Randy Cobb asked.
I will say this: we didn't really talk about this like we talked about it amongst ourselves. But after the fuel debacle, the rule book was updated and amended to address fueling under or getting fuel and coming back out on the racetrack. Shouldn't have happened. It doesn't happen, but is now explicitly written in the Port Royal rule book, and it was not.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's true. Thank you for there was an update there. Obviously, we talked about the whole fuel situation, which ended up kind of being a storyline here for pretty much the rest of the week, to be honest. I mean, but yeah, Randy Cobb says, any truth Williams Grove and Lincoln have rain/cancellation concerns?
That's my understanding.
Williams Grove definitely does. I don't know about the others with 100% certainty, but why wouldn't they? If you're a big racetrack, why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
I don't know. Just
I didn't know that. I know.
I don't know what that actually means, though. Like,
right,
the thing is. We know it exists, and it covers basically, from what I understand, it covers like basically lost revenue type something, but we don't know what the parameters are necessarily around that, and like you have to put effort in. How many do you get? What's the value? What does it cost? I don't know. That's above.
Yeah, I know. I guess I could probably look it up. I could probably try to do some research on this. I've never
cared.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to say cared enough to look it up, but I know that Williams Grove has this. I assume the others do, but I don't know.
It's just good business. I mean, it's like any other business. You have liability insurance. It's the same.
Yeah.
I'd imagine any major event has some kind of act of God insurance.
Yeah. Brandon Zirk says, highlight of Monday night was getting my T2T sticker. Thanks, Jay-Z. And also, Andrew Zahner got my T2T sticker today. Good stuff. thank you for ordering. Thank you guys for purchasing those. I don't have my thing here with me, but if you would like a T2T 4x4 sticker, we are selling them for $5 a piece. It's a little steep for a sticker, but it goes to a good cause. It goes to Vertical for Life. There it
Vertical
is.
for Life.
Helps prevent veteran suicide. Helps give
And
veterans.
the sticker looks a lot like this,
Yeah.
with white on the bottom side of the black.
Thank you, Paul's Graphics, for doing them for us. It is for a good cause, so not like we're trying to make any. We're not making any money on them, but but if you are interested, hit us up at one of the tracks, like you guys have been. If not, we do have a link on our website at turn2terribles.com, and you can order them online. Let's get into Hagerstown Thursday night. Yes, where Kyle Larson gets the win over Danny Dietrich, Lucas Wolf, Anthony Macri, and Brock Zierfoss. Also, Troy Wagaman, Lance DeWeese, Justin Whittle, Cam Smith, and Freddie Raymer rounding out your top 10. Your quick time that night was Ryan Smith in the 69K. Your hard charger was Dylan Norris, and your heat race winners were Danny Dietrich, Brock Zierfoss, Anthony Macri, and Logan Wagner were your heat race winners. Kyle Larson going from 6th to 1st in this one. Track was pretty fast all night. But he was able to make some stuff happen. And that's the way Kyle Larson does.
He should stop cherry picking in lower divisions. I think I heard a Kyle Busch fan say today or after this. That's my.
Is that it? That's your evaluation of the whole race?
I was working during this race, so I actually didn't get to see this one. So yes, that is my evaluation of this
Fair
race.
enough. Fair enough.
Maybe it's just because Larson, he's an alien, but like this is 2 years in a row. This race wasn't the best race of the week, and this one for the last few years before that rivaled one of the best races of the entire Speedweek. 2 years in a row now that it hasn't. This place is awesome. I want to get it. I don't know. I don't know what I wouldn't even recommend a change. I don't even know. You know what I mean? It could have just been circumstances, but
yeah,
this place can put on a great show. We just haven't seen it the last 2 years. Hope it puts on some good shows moving forward.
They had a packed crowd. That place looked absolutely shoulder to shoulder from turn 4 to turn 1. Awesome turnout. Pretty decent car count. I think it was in the low 30s, which is pretty good for them.
And because I think it was still split qualifying.
Yeah, it was still split qualifying. The track was pretty long, but they had to deal with the power outage, which is that took some time away. I felt like during that time maybe they could have ran the track in a little bit, but I don't know if they were trying not to. For whatever reason, you know what I mean, and that's fine. They know the track prep better than anybody else would, so they know how their track reacts to things. So, the racing wasn't horrible. I mean, it's just there wasn't very much passing. Now you say that, and I know Dylan Norris, he went 9 positions forward. Cam Smith and Lance DeWeese went 7 positions forward. So, but you see here like -1, +1, -1, +1. The guys stayed up front, were the front runners. Kyle Larson was really the only one really to be able to make a lot of things happen. And Larson had to do it in lap traffic with Danny. Danny kind of just he was very patient, in lap traffic, and sometimes that comes out to bite you. And he slipped up one corner and let Larson get around him, and then it's Kyle Larson. What else?
and like I heard a few days after Hagerstown, like everyone goes there expecting a drier surface, and the weather hasn't played out for that. I think the last 2 years, so it's just been heavier. So at least I know Chris Frank said that in his video. He was expecting a dry, slick Hagerstown, and he got the exact opposite of that. I mean, as much rain as we had, it's not terribly far from all of our other fishing holes we have around here. So,
yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Brandon Zirk says Larson was very good coming out of 1 and 2, but could not pass Danny until lap traffic for sure. Yeah, that was definitely where Larson kind of won this race. I think that's where he gained all of his time, was at coming out of 1 and 2. He was definitely the best there. and use that to his advantage. Hagerstown had barely any passing, said Mandy. Chris Phillips, 33, and it was packed, meaning 33 cars. It took over an hour to get out of the parking lot. I heard some people were waiting quite a while to get out of there. Gary, this is going back to Port. Did anyone see how the 8 ended up upside down when Macri spun to avoid him? Never seen a replay. I didn't see it. I'm assuming kind of the way it was is I think maybe he just got up too close to the wall and got up and over, but I don't know. I didn't see what happened either. Mandy says, if I had a nickel for every time I was at a sprint car race during a blackout, I'd have 2 nickels, and that's just in 2025 , right?
It's just in last week.
Yeah, just in the last week. So,
Yeah.
which was pretty crazy. Williams Grove had theirs because of a car accident nearby, and then this one, I guess, a substation had something blow out. It was about, I would say, was it like a half hour-ish delay?
Yeah.
And then they got everything back going and everything, and that would be my only critique, because at that point time trials were done and they were just waiting to do opening ceremonies.
There it is.
And
Justin,
thank you,
answers.
Justin. Brock blew a tire going into 3, so there's what happened. None of us, unless you were there, you didn't really know, because I don't think we ever got a replay.
We just saw an upside down race car. We had no idea.
Yeah. But my only critique was maybe like they weren't. I understand maybe that, obviously you're dealing with other things here. With you don't even know if you're going to be able to keep going if you don't have power. But I felt like maybe they could have got the push trucks out there, maybe tried to work the track in a little bit more, just to maybe make another.
I don't
lane.
know how
But
dark
I don't
it
know.
was. I don't know if they have lights either that work.
They didn't have, but at the same time, the sun was still setting. So I don't know. That would be like, for me, that would be like, that's the only opportunity I saw where maybe they could have did something. But they had bigger fish to fry at that point. You're just trying to make sure you get the rest
See
of
if you
your
can have a
event.
race.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to hurry up and get the EMMR cars out there. They had to get it done so they could get them on the racetrack.
Matthew Bird put into the Discord that he's gonna be on later, watching the show in the garage since Jay-Z doesn't think he races. I don't know what you did this. I don't know what you did this. I don't know what you did to Sasquatch, man.
Well, hopefully fired his ass up and gets out racing.
He is. It looks like he's going to he's racing Friday and Saturday, it sounds like. So
well, based on how the go-kart race ended the other night, I might be able to leave work and get to his feature. I get off at 12:30.
All right, let's move on to Friday, 4th of July. I don't know why I just squealed like that. 4th of July, Williams Grove, $20,000 to win. Danny Dietrich gets the win over Anthony Macri. Brent Marks making his PA Speedweek debut in 2025, finishes 3rd. Troy Wagaman, Lance DeWeese, Ryan Smith, Ashton Torgerson, Logan Schuhart making a start. Lucas Wolf and Chase Dietz rounding out your top 10. Your quick time was Anthony Macri. Hard charger was Cam Smith. And your heat race winners were Brent Marks, Danny Dietrich, TJ Stutz, and Ryan Smith. Big win here for Danny. Place was jacked up. He was jacked up. Everybody was jacked up. The victory lane was packed. Huge win for Danny.
20,000 to win, right? That's always something to be excited about. Mitch Smith Memorial is obviously a big deal here as a non-sanctioned race. Good for Danny. Trying to continue as Danny and Macri 1-2 fight at the top.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of things to be fired up for Danny. A couple wins now, 2 in a row at Williams Grove, I want to say, right? He won the last 2. And he goes out there and he passes some of the best in the business. And Brent Marks leading a feature, runs him down and passes him, right? That I don't care who you are or what division or class you're in. If Brent Marks is leading a feature and you pass him, you've done something. I didn't get to hear Brent's interview. I couldn't hear a whole lot of the microphone from where I was at. But it looked like, Danny by accident was on the bottom and the wing slider wouldn't work or something. He had the wing pulled back and it worked. Like it was like a happy accident. It kind of sounded like, and as I watched some of that early and then, watched down in 1 and 2 a little bit, and I moved up to 3 and 4. 1 and 2 had so much grip on the bottom. If you could get down there and get it right, even though it was still fast around the top and it was good 2 lanes, the bottom was so good. And it looked like Danny was just picking away at it. And Brent stuck to his guns and stayed on the top, at least in 3 and 4 when I got down there, stayed on the top. And it just never really came back to him, and then I think he faded down at the end, and they had to move around lap traffic, but the bottom was just so good there, and it worked out. It was a good happy accident, good timing for Danny for sure, and um, just really fast race cars. Look at that. I mean, look at this group in the top
Yeah,
six,
that's
seven.
this
I
whole
mean, look
top
at that
10.
group. Actually, really just top six. I mean, I'm not going to take anything from Ashton or Logan or Lucas or Chase, but Dietrich, Macri, Marks, Wagaman, Deweese, Smith. Like, holy crap! Like,
Mm.
it's the who's who of Williams Grove in a way. When you look at the best of the best here. Again, not taking away from other guys who've had success,
Yeah.
but like, this is what you want if you're watching a race and you're at Williams Grove. You want these guys duking it out, and it was a good one.
Yeah. This one had a fuel stop also with about 4 to go. Hagerstown had a fuel stop the night before, but they had a couple cautions early. And, when the tracks are fast like that, and it was fast on Friday night, even with a 33-gallon tank, you're going to be cutting it close, if you have any yellows. This only had 1 yellow, and it was one yellow before the fuel stop. And that was for Steve Buckwalter doing a 360, which I didn't even see. That's just what I think what the
First time
announcer
I heard
said.
that.
Yeah, so that's what it was, and he was able to keep going, but they already throw the yellow, and that was earlier on in the race. And then I can't remember what brought out the yellow at the end, but they ended up
Somebody blew up right on the front stretch, right in front of me.
yeah,
Someone stopped.
it wasn't for a wreck or anything. It was for something mechanical.
Shit, who was that?
I can't.
Do you have the rest of this rundown?
Just
Yep.
scroll down.
Was it Austin Bishop? No,
Or the 39?
no, it was Brady Bacon, and
It was Brady Bacon. It was a
It was
white
Brady
car. I'm like,
Bacon,
white
yes.
was sticking out in my head. It was Brady Bacon.
yeah, yeah. So I get it. I understand the why, but I do think we can't get 30 lap features, and then we need to probably revisit something. But that's a bigger conversation for another day.
Save that for next week.
Yeah. But yeah, just it was pretty cool seeing such a huge crowd there. First of all, fireworks are on point as always at Williams Grove. At least for me, from my seat at home, they tried to do their best on the stream to try to get them in the frame. But it just looked like a packed crowd. It's always a good atmosphere there, and then you get Danny winning on top of that. It just adds to it,
And it's just great not having rain in the area for once for a show like that. I think that helped. Like, obviously, it's a big show. It's going to be a draw. It's July 4th. It's the whole thing. But having no chance of rain,
that was
so,
huge.
So amazing.
So
I mean, the party afterward, Posse beat High Limit and the Outlaws here. Like Posse, baby.
Yeah, that's
doesn't
true.
Doesn't work that way here.
It does, but I just think
What do you think, Chris?
argument.
Give me that.
It's a
give me
weird
some deep
argument to
insight.
make.
Yeah,
Just a weird.
Franklin.
No shit. That's why I said it. That's full sarcasm, my friend.
But I'm telling you, there's probably people in the parking lot saying that though. That's the scary part of this, and it. That's why you said it. There's people running around in that campground like, "Oh yeah, Danny's goated. He beat High Limit Outlaws in the same night." If Larson was there, he'd be a Larson. He'd be NASCAR champion, Danny Dietrich.
And he did. He had to get around Brett Marks. Brett Marks got past. Brett led pretty much this entire race until Danny got to him with. Was it maybe 10 to go or so around there?
Yeah, about 10. And Macri got him with 5.
And then Macri got him on the restart after the open red.
Yeah.
We'll say it was cool on Friday meeting Mandy and Steph and Matthew and all their little clan they had down in turn 3, going out talking with them. I was there with Brett Perigo, having the time of our lives. Good times. So loves meeting the fans.
So any final thoughts from Williams Grove here?
Let's move on. It was a good night.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one that it hurts me that I wasn't there, man. But Port Royal Saturday night. Lance motherfucking Deweese with the win over Anthony Macri.
Say it with your chest, you pussy.
Lance
Say it with
fucking
your
DeWeese.
chest.
He
Attaboy.
can't. He got most of his chest
Yeah.
used up yesterday at Path Valley.
Lance Macri, Ryan Smith, Justin Whittle, Danny Dietrich, your top 5, Brady Bacon, Chase Dietz, Mike Wagner, Freddie Raymer, and Brock Sierfoss round out your top 10. Ryan Smith was your quick time. Your hard charger was Justin Whittle going from
12th to 4th.
12th to 4th. Thank you. And then your heat race winners were Dietrich, Macri, Brock Sierfoss, who ended up doing the knockout, and Austin Bishop, who had a pretty decent night started. Lance drove his absolute ass off. There's a couple things from this one, but let's keep it with Lance. Keep it with the good here. Lance drove his ass off. Keep him like him and Macri drove away from the field for the most part, and Lance was just kind of running kind of like the middle almost and slid up on corner exit just enough to keep air off of Anthony Macri's front end. And Lance he was beat after this one. And I think it was hot and everything too. But he was fired up in victory lane. I think a lot of people were fired up in victory lane for him. And he had to do everything he could to hold off Macri, because Macri might have been slightly better, but Lance just he started on the pole and he controlled this one and did what he needed to do. And he also beat the last 2 cars he was in, which was kind of poetic.
Wild. He was definitely under the weather. I don't know what was going on, but I think it was from the Mexico NASCAR race he was in. I think he was still feeling the effects of that. Everybody got sick down there. So, just a little dehydrated, it looked like, but took a minute for him to get around there. But once he came around, he was Lance. And I actually need to go back and listen to this interview, because again, it's hard to hear the interviews from where I'm standing. So I do want to go back and kind of watch that interview, but he's been there a time or two, but you could just feel it felt different. I don't know why. It just had a vibe that it felt different. This one, it wasn't 100,000 to win or anything like that, but like, I think he was like, I don't want to say redemption or proving everybody wrong. I mean, there's always some of that there with Lance. Like you say, he's been doing that his whole career, proving everyone wrong. But like, just that they were been so close, he knew they were. And there were definitely people going, I know you're saying that, but did really, like, are you that close? And I think this was like, not only did we win, we had the lead, lost the lead to Anthony Macri again.
Got back.
Or Macri, Macri was leading, lost the lead, but we went and passed him back in clean air. And I think that means something. And he said that, like, Anthony's, phenomenal. He's one of the best in the country at what he does. And to get back by him and win this one, it just meant something different. I think it did for a lot of people, the fans and everybody else around, and then being the Hodnet race and all of that, man. I think it was just an emotional night, and it was very cool.
I'm not gonna lie, when I saw Anthony get past him, I'm like, Anthony in clean air, it's a wrap. And it wasn't. It wasn't.
Did.
You know what I mean? And it wasn't. He had to get. He needed the restart to be able to get back by him. But even then, like, we see that a lot where guys will take a shot at the leader, maybe get around them in one corner, and then they get driven right back by. But that didn't happen here. Yeah, Lance did everything right. Just absolute. Like, if any young driver wants to go learn some racecraft, go watch that. Go watch the show that he put on, because he raced extremely clean and did everything right.
And I think Curtis touches something perfect there. You said young driver. Every driver should go back and watch that, because there's a reason Lance DeWeese is in the Hall of Fame. There's a reason why in these weird moments where, like, oh, he's dead and gone, he finds a way to do what he did on Saturday. Like, go back to when he won against the Outlaws in the Dietz 14 car all those years ago. We thought he was dead and gone then. Wins that Summer Nationals, and it's like, boom, place goes nuts. Like, and he just keeps doing that. 69K comes back, boom. This random time, he just finds a way to use that 40 years of experience, and bam.
Get to some comments here. It was the Greg Hodnett Memorial. This one got bumped up to $20,000, so you had back-to-back nights of $20,000. It was good to see. It was a shame. It was a shame Brent got a flat on that caution. He was coming forward. The new tire was shit, according to Brent. He went backwards after that.
Well, it couldn't go far backwards because he started at the rear, but he did go 20th to 12th in 7 laps. Now, 2 of those spots to be in 12th before the flat were Blaine Heimbach and Troy Wagaman, but neither here nor there. He would have restarted 12th after lap 7 from 20th. So, yeah, that tire didn't fire off nearly like the first one did, and he just sort of couldn't make up any ground there. Until about the end, it looked like he was about as fast as the leaders there when they got to him. But yeah, that sucked. I mean, there was a lot of this. Austin Bishop, we kind of talked about there. Austin Bishop, started P2, was running third, got a flat tire. Had some changes in his program over the last week, and I think he's feeling some confidence. I know he was not happy, like very, very unhappy camper, like didn't get a chance. Felt like he really got that one taken from him before he could show what maybe they could do that night. Saw him that night. The next day, still carrying over from Path, and I was like, dude, chin up, man. Like, you got to feel good about the speed you've shown the last week, last couple nights. You had a second at Williams Grove a couple weeks ago. You're started on the front row of this thing this time. Like, head up, my friend. Good days ahead. So sucks for that. There's a couple of that. And listen, we had Brock blow a tire at Port with 3 and 4. Brent flat tire. Austin flat tire. We had debris hit Blaine Heimbach and break his visor.
Yes.
Like, is there something going on I don't know about? Is there
Yeah,
something
was
we
there-
need to keep an eye on here at Port Royal?
Was there something on the track or something that nobody saw or what? But yeah, there was.
No.
It was a scary situation with Blaine Heimbach. It was kind of interesting. It was like, hey, we're gonna give Blaine Heimbach a second. They even said, I think Earls might have said it on the broadcast. And then what does the the flow camera do? Zoom right in on the situation, which, if you didn't know what was going on, it looked scary. But apparently he was okay. He got evaluated. He's okay. He did get hit with something in the visor. Hopefully he'll be back in the car here shortly. At the same time when that was happening, Troy Wagaman, he was just maybe 100 yards behind him on the front stretch or so. Also pulling down to the inside, blowing a second motor of the night, which was, he blew one up early. They changed it. He goes out quick time in his group. Unfortunately, since he missed his time trial spot, original time trial spot, he wasn't eligible for the redraw unless he went out and won the heat race. But he looked pretty fast. He went out, set quick time. Did kind of put him behind the 8 ball. Had to start further back than probably what he deserved.
He would have started. Well, he would have started 4th. He started 5th.
Right.
He's out of the invert. And even though he moved forward, finished 2nd in the heat, 3rd in the heat,
I think
he's not eligible for the redraw then either. So
Right.
not only did he not get in the invert, which he would have started 4th, and all he had to do was sit there and he would have been in the redraw, he gets into a spot and he can't get in the redraw either.
Yeah.
Even as quick time, which I don't know if I've ever seen that before, where you miss your spot, you go quick time, you then do well enough to get back in the redraw, but you're not eligible for the redraw because you didn't have your time.
Yeah, I feel like you already had a penalty by only getting 1 lap, first of all, and having to go at the end when the track is way slower than it was than when he would have went. So, and then you get penalized on top of that in the heat race.
It's a triple. It's a triple penalty.
It's the same thing that almost. I'm trying to clarify. So the USAC rule, right? Because at Port 3 weeks ago, Robert Ballou missed his spot, and he couldn't start any better, no matter what he did, would start no better than 11th in the 410 wingless feature, and he won his heat, could still only start 11th in the feature. Is it the same concept?
Format.
Is it the same kind of concept though? Like they're just like you're just penalized in the back half of the feature by missing your qualifying spot for whatever reason.
Their format's different, so I mean, yeah, kind of. It was kind of this.
They were doing the invert, whatever, right? Yeah. But
he would have been the first car, probably. I don't know, where did he start? Does it show where he started here? Was he the first car out of the invert or out of the redraw? 11th. So how many ended up redrawing? 9 or
8.
10?
Or
8.
7 because Brock did a knockout.
So there should have been 8 because he was probably in the 3rd heat. So the first redraw spot third heat. Was he in the third heat? I don't even know. But
It
either
was
way,
Brock actually did the knockout in the heat that Troy was in. Brock started fourth and then went to the lead and won that heat race, if I remember correct. Let me double
yeah,
check
he
on
did.
that. It was heat race 3. He started fourth, went to
Heat
first.
3.
Then it was Preston Latimus, Troy Wogman, and then Mike Wagner and Alex Tard in that top 5 that transferred out of that heat.
But either way, I think it's a triple penalty. Like,
Yeah.
why would you go bust your ass then in the heat race at all if you can't get back in the redraw? I don't know. It just seems a little stiff, or you blew a motor. It's not like you didn't tighten a lug nut or something. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. Maybe we're just fans of Troy. Maybe we're just being homers. I don't know. But like going out last in one lap is enough of a penalty on its own.
Because the thing is if he, I guess that happened. I guess if he would have qualified outside like the top 16, he was getting penalized either way. So, or the top 8 because it's split.
Yeah. Go change your motor in like 20 minutes and come out and set quick time in your group as the last car. I don't care what series. Like, that's not an advantage. Like one lap in the last car, it's not like that's like, oh, look what we went and did and gained an advantage over everyone. Everyone brings their best to time trials. Not like what they did was to gain an advantage, and like your penalty is you get one lap, you go out last. You go set quick time. Why should there be more penalties?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree.
We don't see it very often, so maybe it's gonna be that 1 in 1. This was like a 1 in 1,000 thing, but now that it's happened, it's like, should we rethink that? I don't know. Pretty cool.
Curtis Spoonhour said also Macri had a great interview afterwards as well, wanting to be as good as Lance someday. He did say that was pretty funny. My power flickering off here, so if I die, Godspeed. It's really thundering and lightning outside here right now. Oh yeah, the 1A was also light after time trials. That was something you don't see every day either.
Did you see what Bobby Allen wrote about that?
No.
He put out a Facebook post, and it was mostly spelled correctly, but he said that they weighed the car the night before, same exact deal, same everything, and it was good. Next night, same everything, or was it like, no, it was at Port Royal, right? So Wednesday, they were there. It was the car, same situation, car was fine. Come back, or I forget how he wrote it, but go look up Bobby Allen's post on Facebook, basically saying the night before, nothing changed. We didn't change anything. Car was okay. Now the car's light. Scales are reading differently. Kind of the deal. Like, and it was a few pounds either way, but it was like a 20 or 30 pound swing or something, maybe, from like good and bad, like, when the next night to the next night. That's a lot of weight 20 or 30 pounds.
Yeah,
that's a pretty big shift one night to the next in a time trial show.
It's probably Cale Thomas's fault.
That's true. We'll blame it on Cale. Love you, Cale. Moving on.
And then we go into the finale yesterday, Path Valley, first year back on Speed Week. What a crowd. Just an overall really great night. Good to see Path Valley get a 410 date to begin with, and let alone for Speed Week was something pretty awesome. I think it's solidified itself after yesterday. Might have been probably the best feature of the week, arguably. I mean, there were some other good features, but this probably was the best one of the week. Chase Dietz gets the win over Ryan Smith, Brent Marks, Danny Dietrich, Anthony Macri, Billy Dietrich, P6.
And happy birthday to Billy Dietrich today.
Happy birthday to Billy Dietrich. Great run last night. TJ Stutz, Tyler Ross, JJ Loss, and Dylan Norris, who was your hard charger. Rounds out your top 10. Anthony Macri was your quick time. And your heat race winners are Brent Marks, JJ Loss, Cam Smith, and Danny Dietrich. Awesome run by Chase Dietz here. Ryan Smith was out there early. He had Dietz, Marks, and Dietrich on his tail pretty much the entire time. There's a little, I don't know if it's controversy, but with Danny spinning and getting in, he got blended in, bringing out a yellow, which kept him in this here. I mean, he basically going into this feature at the time, if Danny Dietrich won, Macri had to finish in the top 5 in order to
Clinch,
win the title, which Anthony finishes 5th here. And I mean, it wasn't easy. You know what I mean? Like he could have finished 7th or 8th and lost the title here. But Chase Dietz went out and earned this one. Ryan Smith ran great. Very, very racy. Obviously, a lot of traffic got involved. But either way, it was an awesome feature.
And I think from what I saw, obviously I was standing in the pits by the one grandstand next to Chris Frank and the Paragos. It looked like Ryan Smith just made the wrong choice one time coming off 2, and I set Chase up to get a big run for the slide job. He figured out from there because Brent and Danny were on his tail the rest of the way on Ryan Smith. Couldn't get around him. But hell of a drive by Chase Dietz. He was exhausted in victory lane. I could hear him and John. You could hear John Stamen trying to break the sound system, being all hyped up in victory lane. That was kind of cool. I know, first time there. I loved it.
So Jimmy and Chris, first time, right?
Yes.
Thoughts on the racetrack?
One of the more unique, neat places that I've been to. And as I learned on Saturday, I don't think I've been to a place until now smaller than whatever you would consider Silver Spring or Lincoln, Clinton County. Just felt smaller in Clinton County for sure. I don't know what the measurements are, but like it was just cool. To drive up there is nice for me. Coming there, it's kind of like tiered out, like those old mines you see on the side of a mountain. The way they had the parking set up, it's kind of cool. And you just like look down to this bowl. It's just neat. It's neat. Definitely different when you go from the land of half miles to that.
Yeah, I loved it. A little dusty, a little more than I think. Normal.
It looked amazing compared to where I was Saturday. So
well, yeah. I mean, you were at Latrobe, so that might as well be an Ohio track.
Ohio. I heard that they look like Mars.
There's more water on Mars.
But the heat races weren't great because it was pretty much everybody was just very locked down on the bottom. So I was a little concerned, but I knew. Yeah, I mean, when you get 24 cars out there on a small track like that, you're gonna have to race. You're gonna have to move around. So you knew the feature would be at least pretty decent. They were running 9-second laps and hot laps. That immediately got me excited. That was just awesome. You know what I mean? That's not something that we're used to. You know what I mean? Like, only place that you really see that happen is like a place like I-55. You know what I mean?
Kyle Larson.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, I was a little worried after the heats just because it was so one lane, but you knew with the extra cars on the track, they would have to move around and at least create something. But I thought the feature was better than I expected it to be then. It was where I was. I mean, I was dusty as hell. I mean, that's one of the dustiest I ever came out of a racetrack. But I'm not complaining because the race was great. So, but obviously, just kind of bringing that up because it's like they have room to improve on the track prep, maybe to even make this even somehow even better. You got to figure this is their first 410 race, and when was it on last on Speedweek? 5-6 years ago. Like it's a long time.
Longer than that.
Probably even longer than that, right? So, yeah, so I loved it. It's almost like if you go to a drive-in movie theater style, the way they do it there, where you pull up, how many people you got in the car, cool, that's how much you should pay, and then go park wherever you want. There's so many different spots where you can watch the race from. You don't have to just go to the stands. There's spots along where you could just like the fact that you could pull up in like a pickup truck and sit in your truck bed and watch the race and have great views. You go up on the mountain, like that is something that, because I think that did they stuff that in Trailway and some other tracks you see it once in a while where you could just park your car and sit from your car. Like that is something that I think is awesome. So and I didn't know that. If I would have known that, I would have set up a little bit different. I would have, because I got there pretty early. I would have set up somewhere different, and just sat at my truck, you know what I mean, and watched it. But grill as to watching the race, like that's just a unique thing. So and it was just great racing. I thought the setup was awesome, and I was really happy for Path Valley, and honestly, happy for Speedweek because I think that this Speedweek finale needed some rejuvenation. And that being said, I still hope Sealands Grove somehow finds a way back on the Speedweek schedule. But it always seemed like that the last race, and still, there was only like 32 cars here. You know, at the end of Speedweek, you're going to have guys drop off. It's just natural. But with it being a smaller track, you know, and being something new, you know, you get some different people coming out. You know what I mean?
New, smaller track, and a place that 410s don't go to very often. People wanted to go just to say they were there. They remember racing 358 there. Like, I feel like that would have been some of the reason. Like, you saw both Stricklers there. I don't know. They're definitely not going to go to Sealands Grove.
Yeah, and Brett,
and then they go lock him and Jordan both get in the show last
They
night.
both got in the show, yeah. And Brett looked really awesome. He was trying to jockey he got involved in that one wreck, and he was, he spun to avoid the wreck, and that's what he was trying to plead his case to the officials. It didn't really work out so well for him, but he looked really good.
Yeah.
He was almost in the top 10 at that point.
It should have worked out because he did exactly what Danny did. Danny got the blend in, but he kept going.
Yeah,
Brett stopped. So I guess that wasn't
that's
the
the
same.
difference. Yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah. All right. So I've seen 410s here 2 other times, and I think it was just because of my perspective. I thought the heats were awesome because I understand from the outside looking at it, it didn't probably look like it, but I'm telling you, these guys were working for it, and it was physical, and they were fighting for every inch on the bottom. And I know that that's not like glamorous, but from watching it from the inside and watching these guys work the race cars and fight for that space, I was like jacked up. Like, this looks like so much goddamn fun. I was like, I respect these guys getting these race cars, but I probably don't have the nerve to do Williams Grove, or I'd like to think I do, but I probably don't. This looked like fun. This looked like something I wanted to go do, and I'm like, damn, I wish I was in a race car.
Mhm.
Like, it looked awesome, and even the feature did. Like,
yeah.
And I know that it was dusty. They were hitting the berm, knocking up even more dust. So from the fans' perspective on the outside, it probably didn't look that great because it looked slow. They're just rolling in there trying to defend.
It's not even
and attack.
Slow's not the word I would choose.
It wasn't slow. No,
every
They
corner
were
to
being
your
very
point.
aggressive. They were
I
being
was
very
scared.
aggressive. They were body checking, hip checking.
It just looked
each
like
other.
you couldn't make a move. You couldn't do anything without moving
But
somebody.
no, to Jeremy's point, it looked like every move mattered, and you saw that in the heat. My example would be Brett Strickler chopping Freddie for staying in that transfer spot. Every move you made mattered because the momentum mattered and getting that position mattered, position on the racetrack. And I don't know, I was much more tense watching those races than I am ever at Williams Grove because it's or Port Royal or Lincoln because it's almost predictable. There's like, dude, they're pitch sideways, grabbing a piece of the cushion. There's a cliff there that John Winsett did a good job of fixing it some, but it's still there. You can't get like traction, especially 1 and 2. You could kind of see it form as the night went on. Just see him how to navigate that. It was just really unique, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun to watch, and it reminded me almost like if a driver were playing offense or defense and both at the same time. You're trying to attack the car in front of you, but if you get in there and you're too aggressive and you lose your momentum, there's a car right on your tail going to take advantage of that. So it was like these guys are definitely looking forward, but they're also having to play defense and going, if this doesn't work, I'm at risk of getting freaking ran into, slid, moved, whatever, especially if I'm in a fighting a transfer spot. I'm fighting for a redraw spot potentially. Like it was I wrote on my post today on my photos page that I just caught myself smiling. I would take some pictures and I go, that was cool. Like I got done, I take the camera down and I was just smiling like that was pretty cool. And every heat race felt that way for me. The B main was pretty entertaining with guys trying to come up through there.
B main was
They had done
intense.
they did some track work and they were really guys starting to find the top and making a lot of passes and momentum and searching around. That was fun when it did get wide there during the B and guys really started to go up and find that moisture. This was everything I wrote that and I feel the same way now as I did earlier today when I wrote it, that it was everything I hoped it would be and more. And it was great. And the other thing, there was a few drivers that really stood out to me that I see every week and they jumped out off the page to me here. JJ Loss is one of them. he drove. It looked like with a different level of confidence than I've seen. I mean, I've seen nights where he's done okay, but it looked like he was amped up, jacked up, and had everything under control. Like, yeah, there were moments probably during this thing, but like he drove like
Yeah,
I don't know. It just felt
he knew the
confident.
place, confident. Ryan Newton was
very-
another one that I watched. Just the way he was driving, like his week was good, but like the way he was driving last night, he was fast. It was almost like it fit their style, and they
very
knew
much.
it.
And
So they were like, "We're
the
gonna
other
kill."
one, the other one I told you guys, and I told a couple
Mhm.
other people before was Cam Smith.
Mhm.
Until it got kind of went sideways into feature, he had done everything I thought he was going to do all night. I can see the confidence when he was driving that race car. Brady Bacon, right? Wingless. He drove with confidence, man. That car was good. Brent Marks, a former winner at this racetrack, I could see the confidence when he drove. The one though that surprised me was Chase Dietz. And I don't know Chase's history at this racetrack. And Ryan
Somebody
Smith surprised
said,
me. Ryan Smith,
"Yes,
the
Ryan Smith
level of
was surprising."
aggressiveness I saw from Ryan was like a different level of aggressiveness. Like he drives, he's a pretty conservative style driver. He's not on the wall, knocking the wall down type of driver. And in the 69K, he doesn't have to be that way. But this was like a different Ryan Smith to me. I mean, he was just getting the hell after it all night, and it was pretty cool.
So
It was like a Jekyll and Hyde, man. You put some of these guys here at Path Valley, and all of a sudden they're like they're
Hey,
just
I remember
animals. And I was
this.
like, I'm here for it. This was
I remember
awesome.
when I was a micro driver. I'm in. I want to go with what Dave Smeltzer said when he says first time there in a 410. Also, his last was 2011, his micro days. I believe that's talking about Chase Dietz.
Yeah,
Just a guess.
That absolutely is. Yeah.
Very educated guess.
Going through some other comments here. Tyler Murray says heats were brutal, but glad they got it figured out for the future. I agree. I get what Jay-Z's saying there, but man, they were just coming in, plowing that curb, kicking up a shit ton of dust, and nobody could go anywhere. It's not what you want to see when you have an invert-ish, and you know what I mean? And I don't know. It happens though. I mean, I'm not going to complain. It wasn't the worst thing in the world. It just you'd like to see at least a second lane so they could at least make some moves. Gary said it's almost like running Kutztown. Kutztown's even
Dude,
this
Kutztown.
Path Valley felt like Clinton County on steroids. Kutztown would be Path Valley on steroids.
Yeah. Somebody asked us, Carmen Perigo and Brett and I, we were packing up about putting a Speedweek show at Action Track. No, it would not be fun. We would not have fun there.
Matt Bird, and this is something I noticed when they went out originally and watered the track. The white stuff mixed with the water didn't help either. When they watered the track, it was pure white. I'm like, well, that's not just water. There's something going on there. There's something going on there. And from what they were saying, and nobody really knows, but he's like, hey, calcium, what us kart tracks use for daylight racing is probably what that was. Somebody else, Jaden Troutman, said that's a trick they learned from Jerryland, putting soap in the water. There was definitely something added to the water.
Question is,
but I mean, they know how to prep their track, but they also don't get these heavy cars like this all the time. They don't get this, you know what I mean? Like,
what if that changes the Hoosier benchmark?
Ooh.
We don't know what that is.
Yeah, hey,
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
But I'm not sure exactly what they added to it.
I'm not sure Pat Valley's doing it. But
yeah, it was just funny when they took the water truck out and they let. I'm like, man, that looks like milk. What they put on the track that doesn't look like water.
From the Amish farm down the road that Brett told us about. It's amazing.
But just things that you don't normally see.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Can they send a notebook to Latrobe?
There's a couple other good ones here. Hold on.
Can you go back to Matt Trace talking shit real quick? And you done?
What was that?
He's talking shit about me being different. He's running around with the Chaz all night, getting in fights with Gary Kaufman in the stands.
Yeah, how about that one?
Like, come on, Matt Trace.
Were they just talking shit to Gary Kaufman, or actually like fighting with Gary Kaufman?
I don't know.
Chaz's video said Gary threw his chair off the thing.
He did. He threw his chair and he had to go find a new spot.
You know how the Chaz is. Either way, Matt Trace, you're only as good as your company you keep. Your hill is questionable at times. Clean it up, bud.
Ooh. Cannot wait for the high limit race there. I think that one's going to be huge.
Get
I
there
think
3 days
everybody's
early.
It was packed there for the Speedweek race for yesterday, but you add high limit into that equation.
I would
Definitely
imagine
get there.
three
Get
to
there at 10
5
o'clock
days
in the morning
early
if you want to. Get there in line.
the day before.
Yeah. There's plenty of places to watch the track from because it is like it's so sunken down from everywhere else. I really like the way that they do it.
I think the camping thing is the trick there for that one. Jimmy.
Probably.
Noted. We saw that. I think it's great
Well,
that Path Valley had this
Yeah.
tune-up for that event a little bit. I think they treated it a little bit like that. There's a tune-up for that event. So now they know, hopefully, some infrastructure stuff they can do better to get people in and get people out. I think they did pretty good at parking, arm length apart. They crammed a lot of vehicles in a small place.
Pat Brewer, hey fellas, how about that 95 car quick timing at Lincoln Speedway to beat out Kyle Larson? He looked really, really good at times this week. I know they had some struggles, some gremlins, but he looked really, really fast at times. It was really, really good to see.
Pat, don't keep telling people how fast he is, or Hendrick's going to put him in a HendrickCars.com 5-car.
Gary Waters says the last time the 410s were there, meaning Path Valley, it wasn't a Speed Week show. Good to know. Curtis Spoonhour, I think PA should do a charter bus again to Kings Row like they used 2 years ago. Man, I love bus trips. I grew up on bus trips, not necessarily here like you're talking about Kings Row, but like for like NASCAR races and stuff like that. We used to do bus trips every year, and it's so convenient. Yeah, you have to get there early, but you don't have to worry about driving or anything. Usually, you do a big tailgate when you have a full bus and everything. They seem to just keep going away every year. It's less and less and less of them, and it's expensive to run. So, I think if you got enough people that were committed to it, you could probably figure one out. Maybe that's something. T2T bus trip to Kings Royal.
Streaming killed bus trips.
What?
Streaming killed bus trip.
Yeah, Paparoo says 2 motor issues and a broken down truck on the way to port, which I heard about. Not ideal issues, no, but they kept their head down, plugged through them. You know, that's racing sometimes. It sucks, but I think Cody and that whole team, the whole 95 team, did a fantastic job of working through all that and putting a good car out on the track. Matt says, I have a gut feeling the pre-order high limit tickets because it might be sold out. Yeah, I wonder how they're going to do that because just the way they do tickets there. I don't even know. Can you pre-order for that? I'd have to look. But
yeah, because that's how you do the dice roll.
Oh, that's
right?
true.
Somebody
Right.
from a pre-order. Yeah. Yeah, this was awesome. It was great, wasn't it?
It was.
It was so good.
Daniel Lee, pack my van up and let's go. So as we're getting parked, we're parking everybody. Who pulls right in my side? Daniel Lee right here. His first thing he says to me is like, "Hey, you have one of those stickers on you?" Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It was awesome. It was pretty cool. We ended up having a good time, just kind of hanging out and tailgating all day. What's that?
I forgot the pictures I took with our fans. I forgot to take I forgot to get those for my camera and put up for today. Shit.
Well,
maybe we'll post them this week. Yeah, we'll put them up this week. Met some new fans at Path Valley, handed out some stickers, introduced some people to the show. Some have heard of it. Some people looked at us like, who are these goofballs? Which is fair. We earned that, but yeah, it was fun. We kind of walked around and met some fans and had some good conversations and got sunburnt. So it was a great day all around. Night.
Yep. Chris and Jay-Z walked around. I couldn't do too much walking around. I was feeling it at one point. That was the first time I was out of the house in like a week. So,
what were you feeling? The sun or the beers?
More the sun, to be honest. But beers probably didn't help. But that and just moving around in general was pretty rough. But feeling a little bit today. Could we have 10 different tracks for Speed Week instead of having 3 tracks with 2 shows? And this is always a conversation every year. Now, when you add Path getting involved now, though, being added into this, kind of shows like, hey, like maybe doing a little bit of a rotation. I mean, I haven't been to a race that had that much juice to it. And it was maybe a little bit of a new crowd, but it was nice to see something different. It was nice to see something that wasn't a half mile or big track with, long ass straightaways. It was just nice, tight bull ring. It was something different. That's one reason Clinton County coming up this Friday. Like, I'm jacked for that. Like, it's not something I want to see all the time. I love Williams Grove. I love Port Royal. I love Lincoln. I love Baps. Like, I love those tracks. But variety's the spice of life, and if we get that, if the tracks are up to snuff to be able to do it, I don't see, it's a conversation that should be had.
Yeah, it'll never end. If it wasn't this conversation, it was Hagerstown shouldn't be there because it's not PA.
Right.
It's exhausting.
People
honestly,
were calling for Selinsgrove to get pulled off before the whole thing went down,
Right.
just because
the Speed Week schedule. There's a few things in our area that are absolutely just exhausting from a conversation standpoint. One of them is Speed Week schedules. Every year since I've been like following Speed Week or paid attention to it at all, there is a fight battle conversation about that it's not right, that it's not good, it's not perfect. It's not this, it's not that, it's this track's not in this state and this thing and that thing. It's fucking exhausting. And I don't even when someone asks me, I'll answer if they're like fans of the show. I don't know them. I have thoughts. I have my own ideas, but what does it matter what we think?
Yeah. Well,
They're paying minimum of 10 grand to win.
Yeah, and people are showing up.
It works.
Yeah, and people are showing up regardless of what the schedule is.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You could make a million arguments. There's 100 dirt tracks in Pennsylvania. We should go to all of them. It's 100 straight days. Like, stop it. Like, just let them do their thing. It's working. Leave them alone. I don't know. Could it be tweaked? Do I have thoughts? Sure, but it's exhausting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it really fun to even talk about? I don't think it is.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it just because it is fun. After seeing
fun
Path
when it's
yesterday,
reasonable.
Yeah, after seeing Path yesterday, this was all just kind of a pipe dream for years of like talking about like a different track on the schedule for probably like 5-6 years. After seeing Path yesterday, like, yeah, it does open up more possibilities where it's like, man, yeah, like Clinton County, oh shit, Bedford, people start bringing up all these different tracks, and it's like, you know what, that doesn't sound bad. I mean, look how successful it was for Path Valley. So
it's a challenge too. It adds a challenge to the teams.
Yes,
Clinton County, I would say, is probably one of the farthest edge you would want to go distance-wise. I think for a lot of guys.
I think, yeah.
Like, I'm using the Central PA nucleus, like the Port to Lincoln. Clinton County, I think it would be infrastructure-wise would be challenging. I think they would definitely have to do a midweek show, just because it would be a little bit smaller crowd, but perfect for what they're doing. I love it for Clinton County. Path Valley deserves to stay. Selinsgrove deserves to come back. Big Diamond, Bedford.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of tracks. There's a lot of tracks. And
they haven't had great races there, but
yeah,
but pack it out.
Did a rotation for some of these tracks where it's not, you have your staples and then you rotated a couple different tracks every year, make it a little bit interesting. It could be good, but at the same time, like Jeremy said, what they're doing right now works. It makes PA Speed Week very successful. It works for the tracks.
It works for teams.
It works for the teams,
Like, I know we don't like the double dates, but Williams Grove, Lincoln, and Port have the best promotion and everything going on. The money's there. They can kind of carry this thing if we need them to a little bit. Especially the Williams Grove, Port Royal. Lincoln's, they have it, but they're a little bit, I think, a different business model. I think Baps could. I would love it to be one track each, but I could see why those big three get two.
Yep.
They get them so they don't get rained out. They just get they get a show in. They're guaranteed to get one in for the most part. That's why it's there. I get it. They've earned it. They've earned that right to being who they are and what they do. But I could see the argument either way.
And we talked the other day or yesterday, I think, there was a time when Speed Week started at Lincoln on Saturday. Williams Grove still had a Friday night race that wasn't a Speed Week show all they've really done with Williams Grove is add that Friday night show into the week, for better or worse.
Which opened up the can of worms for having 2 shows at Port.
Well, Port and Lincoln would kind of alternate the 2 shows, I think, for a little while. Like once Silver Springs went away, because they used to have the Monday off, right? As a rain date, which was always weird to me. A Monday rain date after you had 2 races.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's interesting, but it's not worth ruining a good week at this time to fight over. That's Alan Kreitzer. Those people. We have 12 months, 6 months to figure it out.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing some different tracks on the schedule, but at the same time, if it stays the way it is right now, totally fine because it's great the way it is. So, yeah,
And Pat Brewer says it best. I mean, you could see the teams that
Speedweek-
had bad weeks, it starts
Yeah.
boiling over come Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Speed week should be a week, 7 days, not a week and a half. So much stress and lack of sleep for the team isn't good. Isn't a good mix by the end of the week. We are all just ready to be done racing, go back to normal life and schedule. Just my opinion, but that's what also kind of what makes Speed Week so difficult and the challenge of it.
And you also have the freedom.
You're 7 days or 10 days. You want to do that at the end of it anyway. And think about this: there's no race under 10 grand to win.
Mm-hmm.
10 races with a minimum of 10 grand to win. Is this really too long? Is it really a problem? Like, you don't have to run them all.
But even if
the money to win the whole thing isn't worth the running all of them. I'd want to pick the ones I want to do, put all my effort into it. And it's a minimum of 10 grand to win.
Mm-hmm.
Minimum. Like, to me, I'm thinking, like, if I don't have the personnel and the people and the thing, yeah, I want to support it. But if I don't have all that, I'm picking out my 4 or 5 best that I have a chance to win at, and I'm going to go try to win one because 1 or 2 of these, it's a good
covers
week.
it.
You know?
Right. But so like Danny won what, 3 this week, right? This speed week, and one of them was a 20K. So that's
10,
40,
20,
and another 10. So that's 40. 40K.
And second in points was 6K, 10K. I don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
40K in winnings. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
After winning Ohio Speed Week and the big one at the end of that.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know. Like I see it. I agree, JZ. Like, you don't have to run the whole damn thing. It's cool if you do. We love the guys that do that. But if you don't want to, don't. Just don't. Like, I mean, Troy Walkerman and the Hefner team, obviously they had issues why they couldn't run last night. They fell to 9th, I think. They probably still get something for finishing. I think the top 10 still pays something. If each night is a standalone big night, that's cool enough on its own, right?
Yeah. But you're going to be racing in the area anyway, so.
And that's what I was going to say. Even if they shorten it to 7 days, say Speed Week ends the Thursday at Hagerstown, you know damn well Williams Grove, Lincoln, and Port, and somebody's going to schedule Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and someone's going to show up.
Or putting off days in there is maybe what he's suggesting. You know what I mean? Maybe you still run from Friday to the Sunday, but you put a couple off days in there for rain dates. You know, I don't know. Until people stop showing up and teams stop showing up, there's not really reason to change too much. Obviously, it sounds like did they announce it? I don't know, but everybody keeps saying how they are going back to Path Valley next year for Speed Week, as they should. I mean, I think everybody's.
Did they?
Everybody saw it. I'm assuming so because it's been brought up here in their comments here a couple times.
Well, Gary said, "What are your thoughts about should they get one?"
Yeah, and then other Gary says absolutely, and they are. I'm pretty sure that they did.
I didn't hear it. I was.
I heard same thing today that it was said out loud. Kreitzer said it or something.
Yeah.
I mean, Kreitzer was in the hauler that I was helping with, but I wasn't listening to what he was saying.
He might have said it in Victory Lane and I didn't hear it or whatever, but they should go back there. They've earned it now. I mean, they put on a great show. It's a change that I think us Central PA fans, not meaning away from Sealands Grove or anything else, I just think it's a different type of track where Port 10s are at that us Central PA fans are dying for. Different type of racing. It gives some different guys a different chance.
And the drivers love it. You heard
and the drivers love it. Yeah, it was awesome. It was fun as hell for everybody. So as long as if they can figure out a little bit of the track prep stuff of like not being so dusty and not being one lane in the heat, but even then it was still great. So
our favorite BAPS races are when it's dusty, husky.
Yeah, Yep.
100%. When it's not dusty, we usually we collectively, as a Central PA spoiled children, complain about BAPS races when it's not dusty.
Gary also brings up Lance commented that Hagerstown has been supporting PA Speedweek from the start, 1991, and should always be included. And honestly, PA Speedweek probably helps really support Hagerstown at this point. You know what I mean? Like, it's a huge show for them. It's probably their biggest show of the year.
Anyone know top of their head how far Hagerstown is from Lincoln?
Not very far.
I didn't think so. I'm gonna look it up. That's my new thing now. I figure out how far places are from places.
Kyle Stewart says 10 days is good. You're going to have some rainouts, and that helps exactly. So that's why if you do like we're saying, you got the main tracks have 2 dates. When one gets rained out, it's not. You still end up getting a race, as they should, because they are the 3 main anchors. You know what I mean? But you see, not to compare it to Ohio Speedweek, because I don't necessarily love the way that they do things, but they do different tracks every year, and and they do a big rotation, and they try to make sure to hit everything. Maybe not all of them are worthy, but that's something that they do. So it's what it is.
If I were an alien and I came from outer space and I tried to and someone tried to explain the internet to me, I would explain it in those 2 last comments we just got. How far is it from Hagerstown to Lincoln? One said 45 and one said an hour and a half. That's the internet. That is the internet defined.
I will say I did look up Lincoln to
That's the
Hagerstown.
internet right
In
there.
between that, it was an hour and 19.
Yeah, hour
But
to hour and a half. Source: I live 10 minutes from Lincoln, says Mandy.
Hour and 19, according to whatever route this would take me from Lincoln to there. But more importantly, Lincoln is probably the length of Talladega-ish away from the PA border, give or take 7 miles or 20.
Right. So can we talk about this? Can we talk about something important?
Yeah. Go ahead.
The points here. And it basically went exactly like we said it would. It's Danny, it's Anthony, and it's everybody else. No offense to anyone else, but we kind of thought this. And this is the week. Look at the statistics of those top 2. And what did we say had to happen? You're probably going to have to win multiple races, and you can't have a bad one. These 2 guys in the top 10 every race. Anthony was top 5 in every race.
Yep,
with only one win.
I think he got a bonus for that on top of the regular winnings.
Yeah. So, and then when we see that, we thought this would be the battle we were going to get. But I'll tell you what's impressive here. There's 2 of them, and then it's not listen, it is to me. Ryan Smith.
Yes.
2 different cars, the wide variety of racetracks. Ran one less feature.
Yeah.
One less feature than Brock, Freddie, and Lucas. Finishes above them. Phenomenal job.
And Freddie had a win.
Phenomenal job. And Freddie got a win out of there, right? So, just that's what it takes, right? And as good as Anthony and Danny were, Kyle Larson's won a speed week. Bren Marks has won a couple speed weeks. That's what it takes. That's how good these guys were. If you're fairly new to the scene, imagine fighting these guys and you beat these guys. Like, go back and look at speed weeks in the past and look at the points and look at who did what and who had what. These 2 almost had perfect weeks. I mean, these were phenomenal weeks in all things told. And it was that close and someone still lost, right? It's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow in that way. You win 2 races and you lose the title to a guy who won 1 race. That's how good you have to be to win.
Think about this. If say Danny wins, which he was kind of primed up for most of that night until the spin, he was in position to maybe challenge Ryan Smith for that win. Anthony Macri finishes 6th. He'll have a win, 7 features, 7 top 10s, 6 top 5s, and lose the championship. That's equally as absurd.
It's crazy. Cameron Smith was phenomenal to me this week. Port Royal Saturday was, a little bit of a weak point, spun out in the feature last night. But if you go back, look at the results of the races we got in, Cameron Smith, just a phenomenal start to the week. Troy had a hell of a week going. Obviously they kind of bailed out at the end there. Just
Brady
some
Beacon
really,
showed up.
really kind of like we thought it would be, right? Where he was. And you can clown me all you want, but I think Freddie had a pretty good week, all things told.
Yeah,
Get a win,
he
pretty
looked
competitive,
he looked
pretty
good at Port.
places, just about
He
everywhere.
he was
Just
in every
was,
show, just there. He was
Yeah.
top 10 most of the week, obviously. Just again, just hanging around, just didn't have that next tier that Anthony and Danny are on right now, or even Chase Dietz for that matter.
I think for me, my most impressive driver of the entire Speed Week was Lucas Wolf. He made every feature, and we know he has it in him. He's won a bunch of Speed Week titles just by being super consistent. But we haven't really seen too much the consistent speed out of him in a while, and he's been showing more this year. And I think with Speed Week here, I mean, he had 3 top 10s, he had a top 5, made every feature, which that in itself, I think just being able, because like here on the stats, it says like some guys didn't make all 7 features. They didn't make all 7 features. That didn't mean that they didn't run every night. Brady Bacon ran all the nights. He missed a feature. It's not easy to do when you're going against 40 cars, 35 cars every night.
And no provisionals.
So
love that.
So I think Lucas just showed some really good speed all week, and with it being time trial shows and everything, and I think it's very encouraging for him and Lucas Wolf fans all over to be very encouraged moving forward.
They've been timing really good. This year, their time trial stuff has been really, really good.
Yeah.
Not that he didn't time trial good before, but I don't remember it being just consistently good years past, and it's setting him up for good runs. So they're getting the beginning of the night right.
The only thing that's my concern is how much resources did they use this week to do that to get through the rest of the year. And that's the thing Danny talked about when he was on the show, going to Knoxville. They suck a lot of resources out, and it kind of sets them back. Hopefully this doesn't set Lucas Wolf back. They've been doing this for 20 plus years. Hopefully they have it figured out, but hopefully it doesn't set them back for the rest of the stretch.
Yeah. Tyler says, where would Larson have finished if he ran the whole week's 13th in only 3 races? I mean, that helps when you get a win and you finish top 3 in all 3 of your races, sure.
How the hell do you
but I mean,
that?
Who knows what happens in those other 4 races?
I'm going to say he finishes 5th, Tyler, just because.
I think he probably wins the title, to be honest. But
I'm going to say he finishes 13th because we don't play.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah,
well, all 3 of us are right.
Yeah. I mean, knowing how he runs, how good he is, he's a favorite to win every single night, and no matter where he drops in the country in a sprint car or any car. So,
but
that's a huge what if.
He only had a 66% top 5 rate in those 3 races.
And the only time he ever ran PA Speed Week full, as far as at least to my knowledge, he absolutely waxed the shit out of us.
Yeah, well, he also waxed the shit of the whole country that year. I actually did a deep dive on this the other night with George. Waxed the country for like 8 months straight.
Yeah.
So check this out. This is the interesting thing here. Chase Dietz. 7 features, 5 top 10s, 3 top 5s, and a win. You know the 2 races that were bad?
10th and 9th.
Flipped at Lincoln. Flipped at Lincoln. And then what was the one he was down the running order there a little bit?
Williams Grove.
Or Williams Grove?
Williams Grove, he was 10th, I saw, I think.
Yeah. 10th and a
Jimmy
flip.
could flip back if he wanted to, but
like if you go back to which one was that? I'm sure Dave has every stat figured out where he ran every lap, but
Bassey finished 2nd, Lincoln won on Port. That's when he
flipped.
flipped.
That's when he flipped.
He finished 3rd at Port. Hagerstown, maybe? Hagerstown, he finished 12th.
There it is. 10th to 12th.
Williams Grove finished 10th. Port Royal on Saturday. Did I miss it?
Was he?
Oh, yeah,
7th.
And then he wins last week, so yeah.
Like, pretty good freaking week.
Overall.
But that's what it takes around here to win Speed Week is what Anthony and Danny do. Next level.
But
right?
that's the
key. I think this deal stays together. He's going to be in contention to win the title next year.
Right. That's 100% the key. That team hasn't had a driver like Chase that can take care of equipment for the most part. Obviously, he flipped. But we don't know why.
He hit the wall. I saw it. He jumped over the cushion and destroyed it. That's how.
Overall, he flipped 1 car. Devin Borden may have flipped all the cars. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's probably pretty close to accurate. But the fact is that team, they're going in the right direction. They're extremely consistent. Their bad days are 12th. One bad day. If they don't crash. And you know how fast Chase Eats is. He's good in everything at this point, Silver Crown or this car. And he's just going to keep learning. I'm with you. He's just going to keep building. That team's just going to keep building in the right direction.
Yep, no doubt.
End of
what
the
else?
day, most 3 in a row for Anthony Macri, 7 top 5s, all features. That I think hands down is probably the most impressive ever. It just the level of consistency and speed that he has. There were times where he lost this week, where it was like shot like the Lance thing and the Kyle there was another one too where it was like, oh man, we didn't expect that. Oh, Freddie getting around him. It's like, man, you don't see that out of Macri that often. But I mean, he still ran well, and you know, the fact that 7 top 5s wins PH Speed Week, and there's still room to improve is scary.
But actually, I think his biggest improvement is getting past and not pushing too hard to get it back. He talked about it yesterday at Path Valley. He was very cognizant. He goes, they told me I had to finish top 5. Yeah, it's in the back of my mind. He's racing smarter. We saw it. The old Anthony Macri would just hit the wall at Port Royal and just go. Gets past, drive harder, flip the car.
He was trying at Port.
But he's finding that balance now where doing that little Lance, like you can do that break, float the middle thing, run the bottom. That was the next stage. Now he's like straight up consciously like, I'm racing the 48. All he had to do is follow that 48. So I think subconsciously he sees that 48 pass him. Good. I'll follow you the rest of the way because you can't take the championship from me when you're right in front of me. He's just maturing as a driver. And so, yes.
I agree.
We're calling, he got beat. That's crazy. The fact that he got beat and only lost 1 spot versus getting past and losing all the spots is just showing his growth.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely a maturity thing for him. I'd have to go back and look at the stats from those past 2 speed weeks, but I don't feel like it was like this. I think it was like he had a bunch of wins, but then he had 1 or 2 races that were bad, and
he just overcame it because they had bad races too.
Yeah, because he was also winning so much. But this
the 1 year like him and Brent battled, they each had a bad race. Like Macri blew up a race, Brent blew a tire.
Mm-hmm.
They had 1 bad race. This is exceptional.
Yeah,
this is exceptional.
The week that Danny Dietrich had probably wins a Speed Week title most years. It's just Anthony was so consistent. You know what I mean? Like 2 wins out of 7 races that you end up running. You have 7 top 10s, 5 top 5s. That is a Speed Week champion probably 8 times out of 10. So phenomenal by Macri and Dietrich. Phenomenal weeks. Just let's hope they can keep it up as touring series will be coming in here later, and we've got some big shows coming up. But congratulations to Anthony Macri, 3 times in a row, your PA Speed Week winner. All right, we're going to do a little mid-season check-in. First, we're going to look at some track points, but then we're also going to go revisit our predictions from early in the preseason, see how they're faring, and kind of give us, we'll talk about like maybe some drivers who are overachieving and some that are surprising us, and maybe some that maybe need to step up a little bit.
That's an insane stat.
In 3 years of Speed Week, he has 18 podiums. So that's out of 22 races. Thank you for the stats. That's pretty insane. All right. We're going to go to Williams Grove first, where Troy Wagaman is leading by 95 points over Freddie Raymer, Lance Deweese, Danny Dietrich, and Brock Zierfuss. Chase Deach, TJ Stutch, Anthony Macri, Chad Trout, who got a win, and Justin Whittle. Round out your top 10. Troy's been super consistent here at Williams Grove. Hopefully they figure things out here with the motors. I know that was pretty big. Why I didn't show up at Path on Friday, and they got a little bit of time here. But yes, Dave, sorry. URC race at Port on Wednesday night. Chase Dietz did win. Congratulations. We did talk about that on Wednesday night stream. Yes, you did. Randy Kopp. We'll go back to that later. But yeah, Troy leading the points here. Still kind of a pretty much a Troy and Freddie battle here at Williams Grove, like it's been for the past pretty much 2 seasons. So we'll see how that one plays out here the rest of the year. Obviously, it gets hairy at the end of the year when National Open comes in, and also you got Williams, Summer Nationals to come up too, which all those count towards track points as well, and that makes things a little bit hairier. But Troy has shown a ton of speed this year, just super consistent. Just we'll see what happens from here on out once they get their entry woes figured out. Port Royal, this is my favorite to watch because Lance Deweese and Justin Whittle are tied for the track point lead right now, deadlocked at this point in the season. 130 points up on Logan Wagner and 165 points up on Brock Searfoss. They're still within striking distance. And then it's a pretty big step back to Jeff Halligan, Michael Walter, Gerard McIntyre, Chase Dietz, Danny Dietrich, and Austin Bishop. So we've been talking about this as kind of like a 4-horse race. Right now, it looks like it's really a 2-horse race, but you can't count out Wagner and Searfoss because they're really within like a night's worth of points if something were to really bad happen for some reason for Deweese and Whittle. But the way it's going, man, those two guys are up in the top 5 every night.
And how many races we still got at Port? You probably only have 10 because their last
maybe
the
at
Tusky
most.
the Tusky 50 is not a points race.
Right, you have
the point race is the week before. The fair opener is the last points race, and that's
you got
Labor Day.
You got
weekend,
this upcoming weekend, but then they're
August 30th.
They got 2 off weeks at least for
Kings Royal
and Knoxville, and then right after Knoxville's, you're getting into Tusky's territory a couple weeks after. So yeah, I mean,
you mean the fair opener is August 30th, I believe,
Mhm.
because Labor Day I think September 1st this year. So, and the whole Tusky weekend, right, is not points race. Or is it only the first night? Thursday, Friday are points, maybe. Because they keep changing it. Either way, there's not many races left, which is crazy to say in mid-July. But
yeah, pretty cool to see it deadlocked at this point in the season because honestly, Port's got the most races in out of anybody, and we'll look at that here in a second. 8 points races left. Thank you, Tyler. So yeah. Every single one of those, you're going to have to keep your eyes glued on those two guys. But Lance Deweese competing for a Port Royal title in 2025 is wild. That's just it's awesome.
So, how with the win on Saturday, how close is he to Keith Kaufman now? Is he within 5?
He has to be within 5, I think now. He was very.
Tyler's going to. So we ask questions. I ask him to Jimmy, so Tyler answers them. I think it's 5. Because he won there last year once, right? He was 7 in the 69K.
Did he win there last year? I know he won at Williams Grove.
He didn't win last year. Did he win there in the 39M? No.
No, he won at Williams.
So he might be 6. He might be at 6.
Okay. Jamie Belfiore says, "I know what was in the water that made it white." Let us know. Unless
you can't.
Unless you can.
Get the drums ready.
Well,
Tyler
if I hit the drums there, it's going to be
some people here
felony.
said he, meaning Lance, is also 3rd in Grove points, so it wouldn't be another point. It could be another point title there.
I don't know if they're trying for that.
200 points out when Freddie's within 100 of Troy. Like
I just don't know.
Yeah, he's within striking distance, but let's be real. It's Troy and Freddie's show there.
I just don't know if Lance is going to even run all those shows. The Port ones, I think, are on their list because they're trying.
Lime. Thank you, Jamie.
They're trying. That makes more sense than calcium.
Yeah, lime in the
water. I was right.
Yeah, thank you, Tyler. I win.
5 to 5, 6 to break the record.
The Port, they're doing the Port deal. He's trying to break the record. I don't know if he said that, but that's obviously what he's trying to do.
If they could keep this momentum that they have
next year
it could happen. Yeah, because I think
unless he goes on an absolute burner,
I think
6 of the last.
I know there's 8 races left, and some of those are going to be pretty stacked competition. But I mean, he shows up no matter who's there. I could see him getting another 2 there this year, and then next year it's a race to 3.
Don't put expectations on it.
But I'm just saying, like, to break it down that way, it could be if they continue to run this way, which we've seen this 12 car get built
Get
up
better
to this point
and better and
since
better.
since he got in that ride last year. So
And you and I talked pre-show.
Mhm.
It almost seems like Lance has been running better the tougher the competition is.
Yep.
In a crazy enough way that sounds.
They started figuring out time trial stuff, and that's putting him in good
In
positions.
positions to do Lance
And then
things.
we've even seen him earlier this year in like different type of races where he has to start further back. He's passing a shit ton of cars. I mean, he's gotten hard charger a couple times. He makes his way through the pack. It's not just I'm just time trialing well now. It's they got the whole thing going.
Do you think? So I haven't heard him speak it. Does he want to tie Kaufman or does he want to break Kaufman?
Well, I don't know. I would imagine he wants to break it. Why would you want to just tie?
Because he's a man of respect. And if he breaks Kaufman's record, everyone, Juniata County is going to boo that man. Dude, I watched Chad Layton get booed. I watched Chad Layton get booed for just getting hired to replace Kaufman. Come on, man. These people are nuts up there.
Yeah, but that's Chad Layton, not Lance DeWeese.
All
Lance
Chad did
DeWeese
was
is
take a job.
Lance DeWeese is the most likable guy and probably
in all of racing, probably.
In all of racing, yeah. To be honest, I mean,
I don't think it's fair, but dude, those people up there are different.
And he's also earned it. Like he's run so long. Like, yeah, if he gets there.
If he gets
Listen, if anybody knows Critters, it's Critter. He knows. People up there are different,
Dude,
boy.
I'm telling you, I was there. All Chad did was take a job, and he was getting booed. Like he killed their Jesus.
Yeah, a little bit different though.
Keith Kaufman is Port Royal Jesus.
It's true.
Basically.
All right, let's take a look at Lincoln, and this one, it's Troy over Freddie by 230 points, over 340 points over Matt Campbell, and then Aaron Bollinger. Chase Dietz, Cam Smith, Danny Dietrich, Tyler Ross, Chad Trout, and Brandon Raymer rounding out your top 10. Troy is, he's just, again, model of consistency. Now he's getting some wins under his belt recently.
Gary knows.
Well, but
I'm not disputing you, Tyler. Keith Kaufman would do that. I'm not worried about Keith. But yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah, Gary says, unfortunately, he will get booed even if he ties it. I mean, maybe from like
idiots, but still
a couple people. Like, I don't think it's like I think majority of
somebody for an accomplishment like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dude, people are weird out there, man.
Guarantee you, Keith Kaufman will be the first to shake Lance's hand in victory lane when he breaks Keith's record. Let's not get ahead of ourselves because it's not as easy as you're like. Look at what he had to do to earn that victory on Saturday.
And I know, Jimmy, we had this conversation 2 years ago when he was still in 69K. He got the 7, and I said, it's a wrap next year. You can look it up in our Discord chat. I know I said it. And look at it now. 2 years since then, he's gotten 1. Obviously, a lot of things changed in that time. Also, Lincoln still has like 18-point races left, we know.
Talk about 358 points here.
Yes,
Tyler.
Ashley Capetta. We know.
Capetta is leading by 5 points over Cody Fletcher and Jaden Wolf in the 358 division. We're trying to stick to District 410s here, though. But yeah, that's awesome for Ashley and you guys.
She's in a hot net.
Wait, where do you see that?
Right there.
What comment are you responding to?
Tyler Koenig.
Oh, I see it. Never mind. I'm sorry. Moving on. That was my quality chime in for the night.
But
Jay-Z's
Troy's setting himself up here to possibly win 2 track titles this year.
Don't jinx
keeps
it.
us going, but there's still, again, whole half of the year to go. But he's got a pretty good lead here at Lincoln right now. And he's been so good there.
Lincoln runs until the week after National Open, right? The Outlaws are there.
There are more races here.
So they have an extra 6.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy stuff can happen.
Lime is an inorganic material composed primarily of calcium oxides and hydroxides. Thank you for I like that. I'm appreciating the science lesson because I don't know what the fuck it does to dirt. So I'm dumb. I'm not a scientist.
Well, once we get done here, I know who to ask, and he's gonna give me a bullshit answer. But
but thank you, Jamie, for letting us know that. I do appreciate that because I was curious myself
it makes
when
sense.
I saw it.
It makes sense. You add lime to stuff. They understand the concept.
The lime helps bond the clay together so it doesn't get as dusty. It becomes more chunky instead of dust. That's what the lime does. It's actually supposed to help eliminate the dust. You just had to ask. You didn't ask me.
I didn't know
Yeah.
you knew.
Anyway,
The only thing I know
I
about
know.
lime is it burned the shit out of my arm when I was doing concrete one time. I wasn't fully
And
covered.
I also know you put the lime in the coconut.
That's true. I know you put lime in Corona. Actually, try to put some lime in a Michelob Ultra.
How about you don't do
Actually,
that?
tastes really. It tastes good. It tastes good.
Troy is winning the Central PA points.
And then Danny Dietrich Speedway is being led by Danny Dietrich, 195 points over Macri, and then Raymer, Dietz, Wagaman, Zierfoss, Norris, Smith, Moody, and Tyler Ross. I mean, this is obviously a much shorter season than the rest of the other tracks, but BAPS, they've only been doing this 410 title for, I think, 3 years. This is the third year, and Danny has won the last 2. So Danny's going for his own three-peat there.
I just want to point out I was right. Lincoln does have 12 races left. So
Okay.
Thank you, Tyler, for supporting my good answers.
Who's winning Central PA points? I don't even know who.
I'm pretty sure it's Troy.
Now, but it probably would be Troy. I mean,
I think I saw that today, unless it was Diamond Series.
I think if Troy wins 2 tracks like that, tracks that run every week, be hard for him to not. But Danny's also probably going to Knoxville, so that sets up for guys like Troy and Freddie and some of these other guys to maybe get some extra points there. So let's take a look at our preseason predictions. And actually,
that's Diamond Series. Never mind.
So I have a spreadsheet that I started earlier in the year. Actually, this first tab is actually looking at the rain out dates this year for each track. Williams Grove has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 1 that got postponed. Rainouts. Lincoln here had 1. They had 3 here that they rained out, but they moved to the next day. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rainouts on top of that. Port Royal has had 6 rainouts. BAPS only had 1, and Selinsgrove has had 3 out of their 4 that they've tried to get in. Williamsgrove's really taken a beating. Like this one that on 4-4, that was one that they got to the feature. It rained, and then they ended up having to reschedule later on. So they got most of the night in, but it was still affected by rain.
Timeout.
Yeah.
Danny Dietrich is the points leader of the Central PA points over Anthony Macri and Chase Dietz.
Oh wow. Okay.
Do not have.
Yeah, I don't understand how Central PA points work.
It's kind of a weighted scale, from what I understand, but I agree. Continue on.
It is something that's just kind of like you watch at the end of the season, and it's like, oh, this guy won the title, and that's it. Like
their next one is their next point race is Clinton County, so
yeah. So how do you even?
It goes by strength of field and shit like that.
Yeah, gotcha. We got a big calcium conversation in the chat.
Right no, we let that go. We're gonna keep on going. We'll let the science go. We'll come back to that.
We're gonna go to our over/under predictions. If you remember, early in the year, we picked 10 drivers here, Central PA, on how many wins that they would get. Jay-Z set the line. He set some pretty good lines here if we're looking here. And then we all gave our over and under on their wins, on where they're at. So let's start with Danny Dietrich. We set the line at 12.5. Me and Chris went under. Jay-Z went over. He is at 7 wins right now. So I mean, if he keeps it going,
go either way.
Yes, that was a log for rainouts, Tyler. I probably might. I don't.
Do not. Grandview does not count.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm only. It's only 410 races too.
And we don't log Tyler rainouts wherever he goes. It rains.
I mean, basically, if Tyler just puts his schedule up, that's when that's
the rain
out.
So I don't know what he did to Mother Nature, but he's the problem, fans.
But Danny Dietrich, 7 wins. Looking at the rest of the year, do you change your over/under?
No.
I don't. I think he gets to 11
Danny?
or 12. I think he gets to 11 or 12. You're going over?
Still have a lot of BAPS races left.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna stick.
Yeah, shit.
Hey.
Now, but he's gonna do some traveling.
Hedging.
He's gonna miss some local stuff. He's gonna do some traveling.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see, but there's a lot of racing left.
Anybody know if Danny's going to Clinton County on Friday? Because I could see him having a lot of fun there.
Well, you said Brock is going.
Yeah, I saw them advertise for him. But
Oh no.
I mean, it would. So Dan, this is what if somebody broke the over here that I didn't think was going to hit the over in the early in the season. If it was Danny, I'm not going to be surprised. Like the 12.5 line was like, I think he's going to get 11-12. I still
Didn't
think
look
that.
ahead. I didn't look ahead to the rest of this list much, but I'd like to be right on one, and I'm going to go with this one. I'd like to have at least one of these right, and I'm going to take this one.
Yeah.
We'll find out. I swear I didn't look ahead. I looked at Freddie, and that's as far as I got.
Oh, he's going to Knoxville on Saturday.
So Ashley wants to know, asked how many tires he sat on. I'm guessing whatever one he sat on, Ashley's tire blew. That's probably the flat tire that screwed her somewhere. Tyler, don't touch any car I'm near that I like. Thank you.
What? Hey, Ashley's leading the points, so I mean, he's doing something right. You touched the car yesterday, and he made it half a lap. So
yeah, and I touched the week before, and he was a hard charger. It's undecided yet.
Anyway,
we'll come back to that.
Danny Dietrich, that 12.5 win line is that's probably right about where it's going to finish.
Honestly, we should have had a third thing here, the push, and now we put the half in there so we couldn't.
Well, you can't. Yeah, some of those can be a push.
I think I went under. I'm gonna stick. I'm not moving.
I'm sticking to under, but I think he gets to 12.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I think 11-12 is where I thought in the beginning of the season. I still see him getting to that. But if you got up to 14-15, I would not be surprised in the least bit. That one's like, hey, I'm fine with being wrong on it. Freddie Reamer, we set the line at 7. We all said over. He has 3 wins right now. Are you sticking or are you
Lincoln
flipping?
Still has 12 races left, points races left. I'm sticking, baby.
I'm not.
I don't know. I could see him getting to 7. To be honest, I don't know if he goes over it now.
Well, you make the changes in the notes we have for the end of the year review.
Yeah, I'm gonna say under, but I think he gets to 7. I think he could get to 7. What he showed. I mean, I know the track conditions at Lincoln on Monday weren't ideal, but what he showed on Monday is like, this is why we all said he could go over 7 wins. That's the type of drive and speed that Freddie has shown over the years that we maybe haven't seen last year, where we think he could get a bunch of those wins. So
they have one major show the rest of the year, right?
Yeah, fuck it. I'm staying with over. I'm sticking.
Wow. Well, I just talked him into it.
Yeah. Here's one that we're probably all wrong
Jimmy
on.
didn't. Jay-Z didn't even answer yet.
Yes, he did. He said he's flipping.
Fair enough.
Anthony Macri. We set the line at 14.5 wins. We all said under.
I'm staying under.
He has 8 wins so far this season. You're staying under.
Yes.
I'm staying under.
Really?
The same argument you made or pre-show for somebody else is why I'm staying under. They don't get easier from here.
Yeah, but
he's traveling, a lot of big shows, a lot of gone again. If we look at, hold on, give me one. Oh,
plus, if he wins 6, I still win.
Hold on a second, let me pull this up.
Where's Macri going on Friday? Or are they not going anywhere?
I would imagine they're going to go to Knoxville and then probably to Kings Royal. They'll probably be at the Ironman. I haven't looked at their schedule. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, if Macri is pretty local.
If Macri stays local, then he's being a coward.
But no, he's going to go run Knoxville.
For 4 months.
He's going to go run Knoxville. He's going to go run Kings Royal. He's going to hit the one.
Take some weeks off, I'd imagine here.
Right, but I don't consider him out of those. Like if he goes, he's one that if he goes out of the state, he could still get a win or 2.
Okay.
Right.
There you go. This is where I was looking up. He has 8 wins, 3 at Port Royal, 3 at Williams Grove, and 2 at Lincoln.
Yeah.
That's 8. If he ain't at those tracks, it's a lot harder to win.
And he still might.
I'm not counting him out.
I'm not counting him out either. I'm saying he might win 6 more races. He wins 6 more. I still hit the under. He could win.
But even
prelim at Knoxville.
Hold on. Let me check your math on that. Yep.
Well, Jimmy's the one acting like.
But he was also out of he was out of the state a lot this year, up to get to these 8 wins.
But when he comes
You know what I'm
back to the
saying? Like,
state
he's
after
probably-
Knoxville,
Yeah, but that
That's
doesn't-
450.
I'm saying, like, he was out in fucking Wisconsin for 3 weeks too, and he's still like, that's my point. Like,
But
probably
does that
the
mean
same amount that he was out of the state in the first half of the season is probably what he's going to be in the second.
when
half
he
of the
comes
season.
back to the
Yeah, but
state,
there's no PA Speedweek this time coming back.
he's
got
coming back to
one
the
win.
Tuscarora 50. He's
He
coming
got
back
one
to the
win on
National
PA
Open.
Speedweek. So,
Summer
like,
coming back-
Nationals, Tuscarora 50,
yeah,
National
he
Open.
won against the Outlaws.
I know he can, but it doesn't get
I
easier.
think
like
I
Chris
think he
said
gets
from
to
here.
16. I think he gets to.
So
16.
Jimmy's flipping
I'm
to
flipping
the over.
Yeah.
I'm saying under. I'm with Jay-Z.
I just think.
Staying on.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm saying under out of respect to the rest of the field, to be honest. But
I'm just
it's
saying.
just hard.
There's a lot of races still here left to go that I think you get some.
Absolutely.
Rack them up on. Lance DeWeese, we put the line at 3. Jay-Z went with the over. Me and Chris both
bitches.
went with the
You
under.
and you.
We both said 2 wins, and that's what he's at right now. I did not expect to see this speed,
This is a situation.
this consistent.
And
'Cause
you guys are bigger fans of him than I am.
Yeah.
We are his fans of the 3 of us here. Yes.
And the thing is, I also said if he got the 3, I wouldn't be surprised, which would be a push. But
And I think what I said, 1 at Grove, 1 at Port is what I said.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm spot out. Right the rest of the year, I win. I gotta take the over though. I gotta flip on this one.
yeah, we got to flip on this one. It's got to be over, right? I mean,
He's gotta get one somewhere else.
yeah. But
in some way.
at the same time, if it's a push, it's a push. None of us are right then. If he ends at 3, we're all wrong.
I think he's gonna win the National
My
Open
odds,
again.
boys. I like
I'm gonna
my
ruin
odds.
I'm gonna ruin my prediction by saying Lance Week's gonna win the National Open again, just because it's gonna burn the whole state down.
I would listen. I'll take this little loss if that's the only other race he wins the rest of the year is National Open. I'll take this L.
That's
Because he
fine.
would tie shots, I think. We're past him. Either way,
Oh, here we.
I'm gonna
All right.
flip. I'm gonna flip to the over.
Okay, so we're all flipping the D over.
Well,
Troy
Jay-
Wagaman
Jay-Z's
was
staying there.
No. I'm not flipping to the over, my friend. I
Jay-Z's
had
staying
this
He
there.
from
was
the start.
already
Don't
over.
call
He
it
was already.
Don't call it
Yeah.
a comeback. I've been here. I've been on this train.
Just want to point out it's the first time I flipped.
Troy Wagaman, 3.5 wins. He's at 3. We all said over, so it's looking pretty good that he's going to hit the over the way he's been performing.
I told him what I tell him the last 2 weeks ago after the 3rd win. That ain't boy. You ain't done.
We need
Keep
one.
going.
So he could. I mean, theoretically, if you keep things on track, a lot of these wins could get close to double because we are only halfway through. But races
I
get
think if
harder
you-
from here on out.
Sure,
So,
unless they're Lincoln ones. They, I think, stay the same.
and especially like if we're still thinking Freddie goes over, who knows? We'll
Freddie
see.
can go over
But
and Troy can go over because
I
they're going to
think
be the
this
2
is-
winners.
I
most
think
of
this
the
is the
time.
most secure one where we all went
Nope.
over. Like,
That's the kiss of death. We're fucked now, boys.
well, let's hope not. But I expect Troy to.
The
double
most
this.
secure bet's the next one.
I think Troy doubles his. I think he gets the 6 wins, 5 or 6 wins by the end of the
Nice.
season.
I'm here for it.
Logan
Agreed.
Wagner.
This
Line
is the
was
most
set-
secure bet.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Logan well, no. Next couple. Logan was set at 5
Okay,
wins. We all
true.
said under. He does have 1 win.
They look good.
He's looked decent.
I
I mean,
just-
not as good as in years past. He's been more inconsistent than anything.
But as we've now know, there's 8 point races. So probably 10 port races.
Mhm.
He ain't gonna win 4 of them. Not unless a lot of shit goes
No.
right.
No, I could see him getting 1 or 2 more, but
Sure.
We all said the under. I'm very secure in that under.
Yep.
I'm not
Just
counting him
moment.
out on anything, but
No, he still might win the Tuscarora 50 all 3
Yeah.
nights. He's
Yeah.
still gonna be under
Yeah.
though.
We've seen in multiple cars him knock off 3-4 in a row.
yep.
I mean,
yeah,
he didn't get to win the championships for no reason at all.
Yeah,
So
he didn't win 5 championships in a row by being a slouch.
based on the stats so far, I think we all feel comfortable here. But
Mm-hmm.
I also would come back to the end of the year and go, doesn't really surprise me. You know, like if he did get there.
But I think what's really cool, just a kind of quick tangent, while him racing that car with his dad has made Mike Wagner equally as good. So
Yeah,
Mike Wagner has that win.
Mike's always
They both-
been good, but
He's always been good, but it's almost like they're building both those cars up, and obviously they're both good in their own way.
Yeah.
He's a living legend for a reason.
I kind of agree with you there.
Information-wise,
Yeah.
He won the track championship last year.
Yeah, but Mike has also got a win this year.
he just won the other week.
Yeah, I mean, I think
And
Mike
he has
has.
he's the track champion last year.
I get
Logan
that.
isn't bringing him up.
I think
Logan
Mike,
is absolutely bringing him up.
I think Mike has looked better.
That
this
program
year
is
when he
better.
has run than when he did last year when he won the title.
I don't care what you say.
That's my humble opinion.
It's not my humble opinion.
I don't know if
My
that's
opinion.
exactly why, but I do
It's
think
just
Mike
it
has looked-
seems like there's something to it.
Yeah, maybe. Brock Searfoss was 8.5 win line. We all said under. He has a big goose egg right now.
The disappointment.
That's
of the
looking pretty
season.
secure.
Okay, listen. As I have looked ahead, I screwed this line up. These were pretty good lines, not knowing anything. I mean, for guessing, I got this wrong.
Billy.
I got this line wrong. So
Yeah.
we'll take the easy win, I guess.
Yeah. That we all needed one. We all had to hedge our bets in some way.
But
I
think your reasoning was right, though. I think what we all expect. That's why when I first had this idea a couple weeks ago when we talked about it,
I
was the name that came up.
I don't think he has 8 or 10 wins in his career.
But I think we had the expectation he was going to come back home, run locally, and be Brent Mark-esque. And
I think
that's not.
He's been super good. I think he's been better than what we're looking at.
Brock has 18 wins in his career.
18? Yeah, he went off at Port. Yeah.
2020, 2 wins. 2019, 3. 2018, 2. 2017, 7. 2016, 2. 2024, 1. And 2022, 1.
He's really
What year
fallen
did he have
off.
7? That
Probably
was the year he
COVID
won
year.
at Port.
In 2017, he won 7 races.
That's when he won the track title at Port. You're right. My bad.
But
And then he
with
he
that,
went out on the road more after that, and that's when
with
he got
that
the 2 wins.
Eichelberger car, and his own 3Z, I expected more than 0 at this point for sure. I'm going to say it, almost an afterthought most nights for me. I kind of forget he's here.
I am surprised that he has 0 wins at this point of the season, but I don't think he's been that much of a disappointment. I think he's been a consistent top 5-ish car every night, no matter where they go.
Is he
And,
top
you
5
know,
in any
Has
points
12
anywhere?
12 top 5s in 41 races.
So there's that
41.
theory.
Well, he's also traveled too, so
21 top 10s in 41 races. One
Yeah.
out of every 2 nights is in the top 10.
Yeah, I'm going to stick to my point. He's the biggest disappointment.
fair enough. But we're all pretty solid in this under.
Jimmy's like, can we go on next?
Yeah.
I had high hopes. I had high expectations. With the experience level, getting his ass kicked, come home, build some confidence. There has been signs of speed. Just got to put it all together.
Yeah.
And what I saw at Baps last year, like
Yeah.
we created this over the winter, right? That last race last year was like, okay,
Yeah,
we might
look at what
have
they
got
can do.
lightning in a bottle a little bit. Let's see how this goes. Got to get
had
over
it
the
in
limit.
I thought about 4 wins or so, somewhere between 3 and 5 wins in the beginning of the season, which is why I said the under. And I still think he could get the 3 to 5 wins possibly, but probably closer to the 2 or 3 side at this point. But I think he gets a couple here still by the end of the season. I think the speed has been there, has had some bad luck, but they are going to be traveling a little bit too. So who knows?
So I want to know what the real American beer that Billy's talking about is before we
The
move on to
Hulk Hogan
Matt
beer.
Cable.
The Hulk Hogan beer.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell that.
Yeah.
I don't
The
know.
official sponsor of the World of Outlaw late models, man. Yeah, brother. You didn't see the real American
yeah.
beer?
I
Late
want to know if
Most
it's actually
American
good.
beer.
Like we've all here had a few beers in our time. Was the beer good, Billy?
Yes.
Was it better than
I
Icy
don't-
Light?
Did it taste like America? I don't care how good it was in the grand scale of beer. It
What
has
part
to
of
taste-
America? Like Philadelphia, America,
It
or
has
like
to taste like America. It's all America, goddammit. It's America.
But
okay.
Is it better than
America.
Icy Light? Because Billy's an Icy Light expert. I want to know.
All right, let's move
Anyway,
on. Keep going here.
Also, Troy wants
also,
to
by
call
the
you a
way,
lobster.
again, happy birthday, Billy. Fantastic run yesterday. Looked really good during Speed Week. Awesome to see.
I really hope Billy's a big Billy Dietrich fan.
Happy birthday, and hopefully see you at Clayton County on Friday.
Billy's had 2 good runs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Lincoln on Monday.
Yeah,
And
Hard
last night he
Charger?
was
No. Was it Hard Charger that night?
no, he got
Baps.
Or the week
Baps,
before?
Baps, he would have been also hard charger if it wasn't
but Lance skirted
right in
him.
front of him.
And then last night Billy was moving through Path Valley, like I said. That was fun.
Not the
Well, he was
level of
hard charger
IC,
at
but
the-
better than most. Cool.
He was hard charger at the Steve Smith race the week before at Lincoln. He was hard charger. Passed a whole bunch of cars.
I love it.
So good really, since he's come back from vacation, must have got rested up. Heather
Oh,
treated
yeah.
him good on vacation. That's
No, I think
got
it's
him all
IC Light.
energized here.
No, it's the real American beer. That's what it is.
That's right. The real American beer.
All right, couple more. Matt Campbell, line was set at 4 wins. Jay-Z won with the over. Me and Franklin went with the under. He has 1 win so far this year. Has not maybe completely
Progressed.
Not
progressed the way
he's been better than just the 1 win.
He's been there, just got to
Yeah.
finish it off. He's
Yeah.
been second and third and fourth best car some nights at Lincoln in the picture,
Mhm.
just not quite over the hump. And I mean, I'll flip. I don't think he gets there. I think we run out of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm also sticking with the under. I think he could get to 3, but 4 is going to be tough.
He did last year. I mean, this is about the time he got
did.
going last year, knocked a few
Sure.
out. So
I really love how Jimmy X tells us how they all can get there, but everyone he mentions is racing each other, and they can't all.
I
The
get
math
it.
doesn't match there
Uh,
because we're talking
we
Lincoln
don't
here
want to be
for Freddie.
that we don't want to be the known as podcast of pessimists. All right,
Yeah.
we're here to support. We're
I'm just
athletic
saying math.
supporters.
Math.
You're,
And I think
we are
there's-
athletic supporters.
The math doesn't math when you want Freddie to get over, Troy to get over,
Freddie could
Campbell
get
to get.
over though.
They can't all 3 get over though. Well, I guess that's
Troy's
the
got
perfect.
one.
Freddie, who
He's
else?
over. Campbell.
Campbell.
But you're under.
Campbell,
He's
and
under.
who's the other one? There's what? How many? There's what? At least
12.
like a dozen left at. There's a dozen left at Lincoln.
So 4,
Oh, math is mathing actually.
4,
Freddie can win at the
9.
Grove. Freddie and Troy can win at the Grove. Campbell
They
doesn't
can win
run a
at
lot
Bab,
of Grove.
even though
Land.
it's hard at Babs with Danny. But I mean,
Because Danny owns
you got
the
other
place.
tracks. You still got some Sealands Grove races, but
Billy likes his rubbers. Justin Whittle.
Justin Whittle was set at 4.5.
I'm on an island here, and I'm sticking to it.
Can I finish going through them before you say anything?
No. Welcome back.
Me and Jay-Z went with the over. You went with the under. He has 0 wins here so far. Yes, you're out on an island, and I still think he can hit the over. I know math ain't mathing, but
That one's really not mathing.
no, I'd probably.
That one's a lot less math.
I'd probably flip on this one. But I still think he gets a couple wins.
Justin, my guy. Come on, man. What's going on, brother? Let's get it together. Let's get it going.
He's
And
the points leader tied
I
with
was gonna
Lance
say, he's the
Port.
point leader still at
Let's
Port.
calm down.
And
Let's get it
Port-
together.
Port has
No, this
gotten
is
the
about
most races
wins,
in.
Chris. Don't you tell me what to tell him. This
I
is
like
about my
full season
over, under, and
points.
wins.
This is not NASCAR. I like full season
Turn-
points.
Turn 2.
Shut the
math
fuck
wins.
up. You answered every one of these. Oh, I'm into all season points. You have answers on here too, you clown. All season points. Don't
I bet
give
you.
yourself an easy out. Come on,
I-
Justin. Get it together.
I bet you if you combine all the tracks and the Central PA schedule between everything, there's still at least 35 races left, or at least 30 races left. I would say, at least.
Yeah,
It might be
probably.
closer to 40. So
because Port has
math does math. So
And somebody will win each one of those, Chris. You know
Some-
better than
That's
anyone.
crazy.
Someone
when
will
there's a
win
race,
the
there's
crazy.
going to be a winner.
But
You're the one that
somebody-
told us that. That's
but,
your.
but no, it's really crazy.
Someone's gonna win.
David
someone's
Gravel
gonna win.
and company are still coming in here. Brad
Sure,
Sweet and company
sure.
are still coming in here.
And there's other guys that aren't on this list that'll get wins too. So I get it.
I'm still holding out hope for
I will
Carmen.
flip on this one. I will go to under, but not. I will do that just because. Sure, math. Chase Dietz, 10.5 wins. Me and Jay-Z went with the under. You went with the over. He is at 4.
I'm gonna stay. I gotta say,
You think he gets to 11 wins?
I don't love
He's
it.
definitely shown the speed.
He's shown
Definitely
his speed.
speed.
He
He
did me
listen,
dirty a couple races, finishing second and third in races that he probably could have won.
And listen,
I'm gonna ride it out. Fuck it.
math if you make math, if you change those second places in the first places, he's over probably at this point. So
I'm not changing. I ain't fucking leaving, as Wolf of Wall Street would say.
I'm not fucking leaving.
All right. So I want to know if there's anybody actually still watching.
Yeah.
Billy
Give
is,
your thoughts.
and Troy.
Which-
Billy and Troy are just
Which
watching.
of these you may not, as fans, you may not have picked, but which of these do you feel you would go out on a limb, and someone's either going to get there or someone's on pace to get there and won't? What do you all think? Billy, give me your thoughts, man. Pick out a driver, and here's your chance, Billy, to sound off. Pick one of these, and who will get there, who won't get there. What do we
Look at
think?
that. Thank you, Dave. I know he had the Chase Dietz math ready to go. He would be at 14 if he changed those second places into first.
Really?
Yes, that's how many he's had, dude. Like he's been. That's why like
He's
me and
doing
Jay-Z
me
being on
dirty,
the under
bro.
actually kind of was like going. Me and Jay-Z going out on the under at the time because at the time it was right.
Because he
after
won the icebreaker.
He did already have one win, and it was kind of going out on a limb, but yeah. See, exactly. I know that was the point. I know that was the point of
if
the.
my aunt would be my uncle if she had a dick. I mean,
Yeah,
come on.
exactly. That was the point
seconds.
of the
If
show.
all these seconds
But-
were wins, okay.
Yeah, if Billy changes his top 15s to wins, he's leading. So
Bill, you're still leading our hearts.
yes, absolutely.
That was
You are.
We actually told so many fans just like Jay-Z and I did that fan walk. How many Billy's the better our favorite Dietrich?
Yeah,
and the better
yeah.
one.
You're over the line. You're over whatever line was set in love. So
We didn't even set a Billy line because
no,
we couldn't
there's
even
no
find
line.
it.
There's no line.
No
There's
line for our
that
love
we
for
could
Billy.
set. Troy says over, under, sideways, backwards. Who cares? Send it. Well, you better send it and get us one more win. So
you'll
good.
Yeah, you'll fucking bitch.
All right. Other predictions. We also made bold predictions.
This is
I have a prediction that Troy isn't built to be in media. That's mine. Who cares? Send it. Like that's kind of the fun of it, Troy, is to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if Troy's going to be our color analyst, is he? I don't think that's our guy.
I don't think he wants to be.
A couple Gary's so let me go back here. Practical Nimp says Macri, meaning he goes over, I guess. I don't know. I just said Macri.
Do we know who this is?
Nope.
I feel like we do, but I'm not sure.
I'm sure we probably know this person. I just don't know who that is currently. Correct.
Gary says Lance will go over.
That's a good bet.
Matt Bird said Troy goes over and gets 2 Trek championships this year.
Oh no, Maddie's here.
Maddie says
shut it down.
And then
shut it down.
Brandon Zirk says Danny gets 6 more wins and goes over, and then Lance will go over 3. So those are all pretty good ones. Those are all ones that I would not be surprised. I think so. I don't remember. I'll go back and listen and then see which ones we actually flipped on. I'm pretty sure I flipped on Macri. And
yeah, you talked yourself into 16 Macri wins, I think.
Yeah, and I could still see that. I'm just saying. All right, bold predictions.
Let's get cooked, boys.
I'll start with mine. My first 3. Carson Macedo wins the Outlaw title. He is currently in third, 210 points back at David Gravel, and also behind Buddy Kofoid. I don't know if that one looks good, but there's a chance. I mean, it's not.
Jimmy and I are dying together in this one.
It would be more crazy for Gravel to lose the title than it would be for this. Is going to sound stupid.
No, it makes sense.
It would be more crazy for Gravel to lose the title than for Macedo to win it.
Gravel doesn't lose this title unless he can't finish the season.
Right. So this one hurts. But I will say he's looked better here recently.
This one hurts. Pain.
I said Mesa personally would get to 5 wins. He doesn't have any wins yet. He has 8 top 10s. He came very close at Lucas Oil with high limit. He could have almost. He was very close. So he was looking a lot better the past couple weeks. And then I said all 4 track championships will have first-time champions. Troy's on that path with Williams Grove.
But how can Troy be the first time? Lincoln champion when he won it last year.
He's such a dumbass.
I'm just reading your notes, boys.
Would you let me get through the notes?
Nope.
I think these are just who's leading the points right now.
Troy
It's not
won the
looking very good. So Troy right now is leading Williams Grove. That's looking okay. But now Troy's leading Lincoln, which
That makes
doesn't
sense.
look good. Lance and Justin are tied at Port. If Lance wins, obviously, I don't know. Lance definitely has track titles there. So,
theoretically,
yeah.
we
So,
don't know, but we're just guessing.
but if Justin wins, then that one holds true. But Danny at Baps, I mean, he's the only track champion there. So, so that one's not looking great. The only one that I think I have a shot at would be the Macedo thing, and that is going to take a miracle.
That's the one.
What are the other ones?
I would say a personally 5-race bender for wins is a better shot than Macedo coming back and winning.
No, not with the way high limit's been and how tight it's been with the other 5 guys in front of him. More than that. So
more likely than that than Macedo catching gravel minus injury.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
But either way, I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong on all 3 of these. Jay-Z says 4 first-time winners in Central PA. We got 2 so far, Michael Walter and Ashton Torgerson. So you're halfway there. That one's still alive. Posse will not win an outlaw race. You wrong. Macri won the Morgan Cup, so that one's you're happy to be wrong about. And Justin Whittle wins the Port Royal Track Championship. That one's looking real great right now. If he wasn't tied with Lance.
Need some wins, Justin.
That's why he's so mad about it.
So
I didn't know we were doing this, and I forgot about this. So, that was not planned. I did not know that we're. Now I really need those wins, my guy. Like,
I was here 15 minutes earlier. Jimmy explained his part to me, and I still forgot it. That's how long ago it was.
So, but Jay-Z, 2 to 3. The one's already done. One's already cooked, but the other 2 are looking really good. They look like really good predictions.
And Meatloaf told us 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah.
So don't be sad.
I mean, they're supposed to be bold, right? They were supposed to be at the end of the day. So,
yeah. Well, I'm gonna go down with Jimmy on the next one.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're going down with me here, buddy.
Because if Jimmy comes back, I get mine back.
Listen, these were supposed to be bold, not stupid. I mean, there's a difference. There's a line. No, I'm just kidding.
This was very bold,
Yeah.
and it didn't work out.
Well, I don't know. Me and you are pretty much in the same boat on this one. David Gravel does not win the Outlaw title as a prediction for yours. He is absolutely dominating the shit out of not just the Outlaw Tour, but pretty much the entire country.
But if he doesn't, if your guy comes back and wins it,
then we both win.
So we just got to talk him into it.
Yeah, we got to be big Carson Macedo fans from here on out, I guess.
No, we got to call David Gravel and tell him to go to high limit for the next.
Gary says
sounds like you're big Macedo fans now.
Yeah, if Gravel drives blindfolded, Macedo beats him. Point spread too large. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
see,
probably right.
I because mine Posse will not win an outlaw race is already over. I can root for the Posse the rest of the year and hope they win one. I don't have to root for the Outlaws. You assholes do.
No,
you got to root for Macedo.
No, you're mistaken, my friend.
No,
all we need is Macedo to beat David Gravel.
Yeah, and then we both win. So
the fuck did I just say?
The Posse could beat both their assholes.
No. I'm just saying you have to root for an outlaw to beat an outlaw. You got to root for an outlaw to get one of these right. I don't have to root for an outlaw at all.
Yeah, yours is all Posse. So
cooked. I'm cooked already on that one.
I still got to root for some.
Yeah, your favorite driver helped you get halfway for one of your predictions. So
big 1A fan.
Williams Grove will have a first-time track champion, says Franklin. Troy Wagaman's 95-point lead on Freddie Raymer. So that one's looking really good right now.
Fuck it up, Troy.
And then this one's obviously, we have no progress on this one, but Brian Brown wins Knoxville and Darren Pittman wins the National Open.
Clean sweep, boys.
I'm already going to tell you you're cooked on that one.
No, fuck you. I believe.
Put Jack Young's comment on the screen. I didn't even think of this.
Yeah, that's right. Like it was that close.
True. That's true. So I was gonna.
Garrett Bard won Clinton County.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
So get the fuck out. That's what I was gonna say. No, that doesn't count.
Well, that was like when I was doing this.
We don't care if he ran a 305.
I was dumb, and I originally had Cam
he won
Smith
in a 410 last year. I was there.
We all were there.
Yeah. So
But
I originally had Cam Smith down as one of the 2 drivers. I'm like, no, that's not right because he won last year. Michael Walter was the other one. If there are 2 more first-time winners in Central PA, who do you think they are?
$600 to buy it, Bird, or we'll come back to that.
Yeah, we'll go. Yeah.
Anyway, Brian Brown. Yeah, no, it's not gonna happen. Darren Pittman, I still feel confident in that one.
Yeah, but
Brian
that's all,
Brown's look.
but you're still wrong then, even if Darren Pittman wins it.
I
Going
don't,
back to the other question I just
don't
asked.
care.
If there are 2 more first-time winners in Central PA, who are they?
Brad Strausser.
Brad Strausser. Rude to make him relive that finish this long after the
Earl,
race.
who didn't do enough the next week we were there, or 2 weeks ago we were there with the USAC. Can Garrett Bard win this one? No.
So what was your question?
So we have 2 first-time winners in Central PA this year. Who, if to get to year 4 that you predicted, who are the other 2 that you think could do it?
I know one of his. At least I hope it's one.
Ryan Newton could be one. Tyler Murray.
That wasn't it.
I
was gonna
has
say
Ryan Newton won a
Logan-
Central PA race? No.
No, I was gonna say Logan Rumsey on Jay-Z's
Well,
behalf.
Here's my thing with Rumsey. I think right now it's going to have to be a handicap show, and I don't know if he's eligible to start up
And-
front in a 410
Is he
handicap
running
at
410?
Lincoln. Like,
Is he running 410 full time for the rest of the year? Or is he going to keep bouncing?
no,
So
Yeah,
that
still
that
be
that
bouncing
kind of
around.
that kind of limits him a little bit as well.
Right. So, handicap show this weekend at Lincoln. JJ Loss.
There you go.
Okay.
Some speed there, maybe. Oh, look,
Yep,
JJ
somebody-
Loss. There
yeah,
you go.
JJ Loss.
Maybe there. And then, listen, we go to Clinton County. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. But man, let's see.
Has Tyler Ross ever won?
Has Jeff Halligan won? Yeah, he's won.
Yeah, he's won
Yeah,
plenty.
for sure.
Yeah.
410. Yeah.
Yeah. Has Tyler Ross ever?
Yeah.
He has, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He would be one that I would put on the list, but he obviously won one area. So
I could see, like Chris
Handy-
Frank, maybe, Clinton County deal, but it's got to go right? It's got to be right. And that track gets more exposure, more drivers that are, more drivers show up, the better the fields get. So that gets tougher, right? Preston, I don't know about
Latimus is
that.
a little bit a ways away, but he has shown some speed. Someone that
Does
I think
Ryan Taylor have a 410 win?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. I think so. He's been running a long
Right,
time, a lot
in
longer
his
than I
in
thought.
his car, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Because he's shown a little bit of speed here and there.
Mhm. One person
know
that
he has
kind of
3
sticks out for me, and it would have to be kind of like a handicap show at Port, but it would be Nash Ely. I think he's shown some pretty good speed at Port. Cody Hartlaub, that's one.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That he probably goes to the top of the list, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of the Lincoln group that Cody for sure. Yeah, there's some. Did Billy win a 410? He's won a 410 race.
Yeah, he's why he won at Clinton County a couple years ago. So.
He won a Clinton County.
He's won
Yeah.
plenty of 410 races as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking first career, not first of the year. Like
Yeah,
first
there's not
career
many.
410
I mean,
wins. There aren't
I
that
think
many.
JJ Law,
Yeah.
JJ, Cody Hartlaub,
Jake Karkland. I could see Jake Karkland came pretty
Karkland.
close at Sealands and he's shown flashes of speed at times. He's definitely a guy that could get in there and steal one. He's shown enough speed to put
I
himself
like that
in
one a lot. We have some Sealands stuff left.
Mhm.
The other one I was thinking of just hit my brain, and I don't know. And I like the our Aussie 66 Ryan Newton. I like that one a lot.
I mean, we
the
just
other one
named
I was
about 5
thinking of-
guys right now that could get them. But math ain't mathing, right, Chris? Because there's not enough. Austin Bishop did win. Austin Bishop won at Sealands Grove last year.
Sealands Grove. Yeah, Dylan Norris, he has a couple though. Not many. 4?
There's a couple. Daniel
He
Lee,
won he won at PPMS. Huh.
Taylor won at the Grove
yeah.
the night Monteith was showing a false yellow with 1 to go. Both guys credited it with wins. So
That's wild.
That is insane. What a stat. Daniel Lee with the stats. With the
I mean, they're
with the
four.
lore.
The 4 was a bold take. There's not that many out there that have kind of been sniffing the front. I think those are the two. You look at Jay Carklin and maybe Cody Hartlaub and JJ Loss. I think those are the 3 that. And I'm not saying Logan Rumsey can't, but I don't know if he's ready yet. Right, like depending on the circumstances and how it would all fall.
If he was running 410 every week, like for sure, then I would probably throw his hat in the ring a little bit more. But for him, since he's bouncing around a little bit and just kind of more pick and choose, it's hard to say. Like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I think next year, if he goes full time 410 next year, for sure.
I think we've hit probably. Like I'd like to see Devin Adams up at Port. Start to get that speed a little bit. He's a guy I think could do. Him and Garrett Bard are kind of those guys that you're looking at, like, what's the future look like? And I think both of those guys are on the radar. And I think Garrett's kind of progressed a little bit faster. The other one that could sneaky quiet somewhere, Mikey Thompson, as he continues to evolve a little bit. He won that non-qualif, that non-winners race at BAPS, looked pretty good doing it against some other people. You're muted.
That's good. That's fine that you're muted.
Yeah, it's fine. Just stay there. Actually, that sounded great. Yeah, I don't know. There's some names out there for sure. That's a fun one to talk about, to be honest, because I hope I'm there for it whenever it happens, to be honest. I miss Walters.
If you're going to point out, are you going to point out Doug Hammaker right now?
Listen, there's an old saying, Chris, to finish first, you must first finish.
Yeah. I mean, man, I will say,
I love him. I love Doug.
Yeah. He has shown some incredible speed at times this year, where he's hard charged and stuff at times this year. It's like, man, he looks really good.
Yeah.
But then there's times where it's like, man, what's going on? Like, not because of speed, but because of just not being able to keep it together.
Some of it's speed, some of it's an accident, some of it's a mistake, and then it's
just not being. I shouldn't say keep it together. I mean, put it all together is what I meant to say.
Yeah, it's just inconsistency at this point for sure.
I think looking at that July 19th port date is why I thought of that, because most of the hitters are going to be at Eldora. Port's racing 410s that night.
Daniel Lee, 27. Steven Snyder got a win. He has a win. He won out Western PA Speedweek, didn't he?
Yeah.
He won that race. He got drilled by the 98. The Golden Flavor Sesame Sticks car was broken, still won the race.
Oh, yeah.
He got a win.
Daniel Lee, Carmen Perigo is not going to be winning this year.
Well,
no, it says, does he have one?
He does not have a 410 win. This is his first year ever running winged 410 sprint cars. So he only has like 5 or 6 starts. So
Latrobe was his 5th start. Yes.
So
we'll come back to that, but that's not. It's not a skill issue. It's not the objective with that program.
Yeah.
So
he's just trying to get the laps in and everything, and
they're trying to learn stuff and things like that. Now, if he were to win, it would probably be some cornfield in the middle of Ohio that we've never heard of, maybe called Hummingbird. That's a PA track. So
technically, it wouldn't be in Central PA, so it wouldn't.
It's gonna be somewhere else.
No, he wins at Clinton County on Friday.
But he actually might be. There's talks. He might be at that Port Royal date, July 19th. Maybe he steals one from Doug Hammaker.
Hell yeah. But yeah, so it was a fun one to talk about. Some of our predictions looking pretty decent. Some of them not so much. Let's take a look at the weekend ahead. And we've been talking about it. Clinton County this Friday. Williams Grove is dark. Summer break. So Friday night, this is the only 410 show in town, which is, I'm hyped for that. This is $7,500 to win. This isn't, this ain't chump change. So you're going to see some guys that, that maybe haven't even been to Clinton County go out, I think, for this one. I think when we went last year, they had almost 50 when we went last year. And that was
in the 40s.
It was close to 50. Like every time there was been a 410 race there in the past 2 or 3 years, it's been close. It's been
That
at
was
least
the Phil Walter Classic we went to, right? That was
yeah.
before the softball
that
thing.
was
That's
later,
that's the
right?
next
Not
one.
this
that was
one.
later. It wasn't not
Yeah.
The
this
Phil
one,
Walter
no.
Classic that pays $6,000 to win usually.
Yeah. This one, it's $7,500 to win. I believe it's through the tourism of Clinton County. It's Clinton County Tourism or something like that that's actually putting up this money, which is pretty cool. So I expect the big crowd. I expect the big car count, and I expect a great race. This place is freaking awesome.
Love it.
If you liked what you saw at Path Valley, it'll be different, but it's tight ass racing like this. It's we were talking yesterday. It's kind of like if Port and Lernerville had a child and it was a midget.
What?
That's what Clinton
What
County
the
would
hell conversation did this happen in?
I don't
When
know
he
who I was talking
when he
about.
says we,
I
audience,
had this
Jay-Z and I
conversation
were
with
not
somebody.
there. We were
No,
out.
no, I don't
We
think
were
you were. I
not a
think
part of this. This
It
is
might have been
wild.
with either with I might have had it actually with Daniel or Matt or Steph or somebody yesterday. I can't remember who but I'm like, you know what? Lernerville and Port are kind of because it kind of gets slick like when Port gets slick and makes it very racy. But it's like a very mini Lernerville, the way it has like no
I'm just gonna let you ride this one out.
no wall.
You
So
know what it is? You want to know what it is? It's a slower, slicker Attica. There's really not walls. The front stretch has a
well,
wall.
that's why I was comparing it to Lernerville.
I was just gonna say it's a
I'm with
better
you, but the
version of
shape of
Bedford and Big
Lernerville is
Diamond.
like Lernerville's like an egg. I mean, it's two very different radius corners. Clinton County's pretty similar radius on both sides. No wall in the back.
I think
really
1 and
no
2 gets
walls.
tight on the end a
It's
little bit.
Yeah,
But
it's tiny as shit. It's tiny and it gets real slick and slow.
I would
fun.
say it's a better version of Big Diamond than Bedford.
It's nothing like
What?
Big Diamond.
I just
Nothing
wanted
like Big
to
Diamond.
shit talk both of them places.
It's a smaller, slicker Attica to me. Like just the shape of the corners. It's like
I
it's
can see
almost
that.
like
All right.
paperclip.
Yeah.
Like it's a paperclip style, like a little Williams Grove / Attica, but doesn't have walls. It's on the backstretch, and 1 and 2 there's a wall, but it's after the.
Oh yeah,
banking
maybe that's what I
ends.
said. Maybe I said if it's Path and Port had a baby or something like that. Yeah. So either way, it's
Path and Port had a baby. Fuck.
but it's not.
Jimmy was on hinge yesterday. He got out of the house for the first time in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Let
I was
alone.
out of the house. I was feeling good until I wasn't. But also 4 cylinders and 270 micros are racing this, and I'm telling you, the 4-cylinder race is going to be as good as the 410 race. The 4 cylinders here are awesome. I also just like 4 cylinders for some reason. I don't know why. But if you can get to this race, I know it's out of the way for maybe a lot of you, but they only go here twice a year, and it is a certified banger every time. It is awesome. It is fun to watch. If you can make it, get there. It is not streamed anywhere. So, and 7,500 to win. I know I saw Brock Zierfoss is already going. You're going to see a lot of, you know, maybe not all the biggest names, but I think you're going to see some bigger names than usual go hit this race.
And there were 50 270 Mason-Dixon sprint cars, micros at Lincoln Saturday. So you might see 40 or 50 of those too.
They don't usually get that many. And also 270s.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it is the Mason-Dixon series. You're right. So
Mason-Dixon, they got, they got 50 of them at Lincoln Saturday. Now, this is a Friday night, so maybe not, but you might see a pretty healthy car count of 270s as well.
Yeah.
Didn't they say Path was it 600s racing for 2,000 on Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I wasn't sure if they said 600s or 270s. Something that'd be kind of weird. They
No, it's
did
600s.
that. Yeah, no, definitely go to Clinton County. Love that place. If you can get there, go. I will be at work. Rage.
And then on Saturday, both Lincoln and Port Royal are both running. Dean's Auto Plaza night for Lincoln on Saturday. Fan zone from 4:30 to 5:30. Pits open at 3. Grandstands at 5. So you have plenty of time to get there. Pat is running 270s on Friday. I thought it was 600.
Crazy.
So
why?
That means you just won't see as many 270s there.
You won't see any 270s there.
You will. There's a shit ton of. There's a lot more than you think.
Yeah, that's the problem. There's too many of them.
There's because they run Clinton County pretty much weekly, so you'll have your weekly crowd there that'll go there. So yeah, but Lincoln on Saturday, $20 to get in. Fan zone 4:30 to 5:30. 410s and 358 sprints. Standard Lincoln show should be a good night. And it's always good when they do these fan zones. I think it's good for the fans, good for everybody. And then also Port Royal on Saturday night, 410s, 305s, and limited late models. Pretty standard night. Sure they'll have about 50 305s there. They always get a really good car count with the 305s, so that's where the 410s are on Saturday. And then both Lincoln and Port are then dark the following week because of Kings Royal. So it's kind of weird. It's a little off.
Yeah.
I'm personally, and it's not because Clinton County's running, but I think the past couple of years you've seen that Williams Grove race after Speed Week, and they don't get very many cars, and it. Go ahead.
You're saying Lincoln's off the next week?
What,
No.
410s? No. No, they run the next week?
Lincoln
410 Wing Super Sportsman at Lincoln the next Saturday, and Port Royal is 410s, 358s, and 305s on the 19th.
I'm telling you, something. Yeah, the 19th. I know the 410s are there on the 19th.
Yeah, you're right. My bad.
That race right there, my boys. 3 wing divisions, 358s at Port Royal.
358s at Port?
Damn. First time in maybe ever or something. I don't know.
So I'm wrong. So we're running.
I think something weird happened. They got the Grove and them all.
Oh, because
that's
Summer
National. Yeah, because then it's Summer National, so they're off the next week. So
I'm drinking Vertical for life. Dakota Coon. Get wrecked.
My bad. I was wrong. They usually are off for that, but I thought but probably got the dates mixed up.
I had to stop and think. I'm like, wait, I just looked at this over the weekend. I was like, wait a minute, and that's at 358.
In fact, he literally said that, and I was like, wait a minute. I just got done saying that Carmen is going to be racing at Port on the 19th. Potentially.
Anyway, this Saturday, 410s, 305s, and limited late models at Port. 410s, 358s at Lincoln. Williams Grove is dark. Going back to what I was saying, usually that the week after Speed Week is kind of sparse for both cars and fans at Williams Grove, just because everybody's kind of spent. So they get the Outlaws coming in anyway. So I think it's good to have a little bit of a summer break there, and Clinton County gets to kind of maybe I think if Clinton County ran it anyway, they would still get a pretty decent car count, but. Yeah, so that's this week in Clinton County, Lincoln and Port on Saturday. And then looking at the World of Outlaws, Deer Creek Speedway, and this is funny because we were watching, I was watching. Was it Lucas Oil? No, it was the World of Outlaw late models that were at Deer Creek over the weekend, and place looks awesome. It looks like a pretty nice facility. Pretty racy. It was pretty fun for the late models, and excited to see the World of Outlaw sprint cars go there on Thursday night, and then they do a twofer at Wilmot for the Badger 40 night 1 and night 2, both Friday and Saturday. And then obviously we'll talk about this more next week, but then it's Kings Royal week, so you have Attica on Tuesday, and then everything that's going on with Kings Royal then for the rest of the week. High Limit is at Florence Speedway Friday and Saturday in Kentucky, and then they will be at Fremont on next Monday, to kind of kick off that whole Kings Royal week. So basically they're racing from Monday through Saturday. Do they have Wednesday off, or is Wednesday? No, they race Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday for Kings Royal.
So they have Tuesday off.
No, Tuesday's is the Doty Classic at Attica.
They have the choice to go if they want.
Yeah. So
Florence Speedway in Boone County, Kentucky. God damn.
Ask Brett Perigo about it. They went last year. Said it was a pretty nice place. They went
right after being a big diamond for 85 hours.
yeah, that's right. I can't believe they made that trip. But that's what
we actually talked about that trip last night. The other night, leaving Latrobe.
Yeah, Florence will be badass for High Limit for sure. Steph says, and also Chad Trout in the legend car at Lincoln was the #1 thing that happened. Somebody else also brought up about Chad Trout in a legend, so that was cool to see.
It was also Steph.
No, somebody else said it.
Oh, tonight, you mean?
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what this week ahead looks like. Pretty awesome speed week. I think in terms of attendance, might have been one of the best in a while. I don't know. I mean, I only went to one race, so it was pretty good. Oh, you want to talk about?
No, I don't want to engage in whatever he's talking about.
Why didn't you tell us about your trip to Latrobe?
Well,
Latrobe,
Latrobe.
Latrobe on
It's Latrobe. I say Latrobe. He says Latrobe. There's other words out there.
It's Latrobe, Dakota.
No, well,
it's not Latrobe. It's
he wouldn't know.
Perigo calls it Latrobe too.
It's Latrobe.
Well,
it's Latrobe. All I know about Latrobe is that's where Rolling Rock's from.
Not anymore, because Anheuser-Busch bought them and moved them east and shut the plant down. I heard that before I went there, which is probably what it was like
Thank
7
you,
people
Randy.
there.
I knew somebody else said it. Talking about Chad Trout in the Legend.
No, Latrobe is an experience. That was the farthest west I've went for a race. You pull in there, obviously the tunnels. Jay-Z loved hearing about the tunnels and my snaps of the tunnels. Dakota, I don't talk to the locals at Latrobe. It's Latrobe. They're retarded.
Local tribesmen, is it like?
The only locals I saw were the deer out in the field.
Exactly.
Either way, went through the tunnels. It was cool though. You go through there. Yes, Mandy, 15 cars there for the All-Star Circle of Champions. It's an experience. It is not anything like you would see here. There's a motocross track in the infield. The outer circle that they call racetrack is kind of like concrete. You put water on it and it kind of just sat there. It's kind of interesting. The fries didn't have salt on them. That was kind of shitty too. But no, overall experience was cool. Going to the infield in the middle of a grass meadow, a lot of cars going around you was unique for me. I followed Dakota in actually because I was like, hey, because Brett goes, how did they let you walk across the track? Because we already get yelled at like 3 times for being near the racetrack while they were doing track prep. So Brett wasn't sure if we could walk across the track, and I saw Dakota taking the air pump. I'm just going to follow him. Seems safer than riding on a 4-wheeler. Good times. 3 hours.
3 hours well spent.
That was 3 hours there, 3 hours back, plus the 32 minutes.
Well spent.
Plus the 32 minutes for 2 hot dogs and cheese curds.
Plus the $50 in tolls. Well spent.
Thank you, Daniel. That's exactly what it's like. It's Latrobe. I don't care what the locals say.
Yeah. Oh.
No, I recommend go to Latrobe. Just go there. At some point, experience it. That's all I got.
Any updates on that bag crash that injured several fans? So 2 out of the 3 fans. This was at Sonoya down in Georgia. I don't know if anybody saw it, but the late model went wall riding and then into the fence, and there was some fans standing pretty close to the fence and got lit up pretty good. But 2 out of the 3 were transferred to hospitals, and all 3 have been, or both of them have been released from the hospital that night. So sounds like they're okay. Nothing life-threatening. Luckily, it could have been a lot worse. Hopefully they have all speedy recoveries, but they all were checked and released from the hospital. I just don't know what the extent of their injuries are. But yeah, that was scary. And there is video out there on the internet. If you want to see the whole thing, it's a little, kind of graphic. So I wouldn't advise it unless you really want to see something like that, which I don't know why. Steph, Jay-Z, Connor wants you to sign his autograph shirt. He got Jimmy and Chris, which I've never been asked to autograph a shirt. So
you didn't sign an autograph yesterday?
No, he couldn't find him. He couldn't find Jay-Z.
No, you said you didn't. I signed it too.
Yeah, I
signed
it.
He had never done it before.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he didn't ask me. He just walked up and gave me a Sharpie. I'm like, yeah, I know you.
That he did ask you then. So
I signed
I signed a.
I signed it. I know I signed it.
I signed a big banner. Yeah. Okay. I signed a big banner one time last year at Lincoln. I don't know what that was, but I signed that. I thought that was it. It's still not Like,
I guess
what
we
do you
signed
mean?
the cone at Summer Nationals last year, if that counts or anything. But
No, that was our
no,
own
it doesn't.
thing.
Well, I was saying is you said ask. He walked up and he showed me what he wanted, and so I suck at signatures, so I put T2T below it so he knew at least where it came from.
Yeah, I did the same thing. So
Because like, this is a
I was
scribble.
very honored to sign Connor's shirt, though. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I promptly went and told Dylan Orwig, I'm like, y'all didn't sign shirts today. Get fucked.
Big time crew chief Franklin over here. So, out here. I guess Drink It, Dump It. Matt Bird already put his in the chat. Drink It. It was happy to travel to Speedweek show with the family and had an amazing time. Back in the cart this weekend supporting my local tracks. That's awesome. Also happy for T-Dub to be in Central PA. Dump it to the 3 rainouts and the great blackout of Hagerstown. Drink It, Dump It. If you haven't played before, put it in the chat. Drink it to something that you want to give a shout out to. Dump it to something else that you want to give a shout out to for maybe a bad reason. So, kind of like just how Matt did. Drink It, Dump It. Who wants to go first?
You're the host.
Well, that's easy. Drink It to Path Valley. Great job. Put on a show. Great event. Great racing. Great fans. Great weather. Hope everybody enjoyed it. It was everything I hoped it would be, like I said, and I hope it was for everybody else that had never experienced that. Dump It. I'm splitting it between Cody Hartlaub and Troy Wagaman. You each get a little Dump It for all the issues. Multiple, lots of dollars burned up this week. Tough deal, guys. Hopefully, y'all get back out there soon and good to go as a team for the rest of the season.
So I got a couple. I want to drink it to Dave Hare. So he comes through yesterday. I was, and that's where this story starts. So I was at the merch shirt selling not selling. I was talking to the two nice ladies that were named Sarah and Michaela, selling the Jordan Gibbler shirts, supporting Zach Piper for the foundation shirts. Dave Hare walks up. Dylan Orwig is there, waves him over, and Sarah Gibbler starts talking to Dave. She's like, the thank you thing. She's like, the thank you thing is like a cool thing, and we all love it. And he starts telling the story about where it came from. And apparently, so there's a Rex Barney, who was an announcer at Memorial Stadium for the Orioles, pre-Camden Yards. And the way he would talk, he would always end it with "thank you." So Dave always uses that as an ode to him, and it's kind of cool. So I looked it up last night. It was a really cool story. Dave took about 10 minutes to explain it all to us, where that came from. It was like awesome. I want to drink it to the Paragos for letting me hang around their car. I'm gonna dump it to whoever was pushing Bobby Elliott at Latrobe and almost destroyed their car and the Parago trailer. He lost brakes during the feature, and he knew that. He was steering the car in. They were pushing him, and he told them to stop, and they didn't stop pushing him. That car came in at Mach Jesus. Props to him for steering that car between the two haulers to hit nothing. And I think his mom or somebody, they helped catch the car with him. Props to them, 100%. Heads up move by them. Whoever's pushing them, I think it was maybe their team. Just miscommunication. You hate that. Dump it for Brett Perigo getting his axle snapped and his car crushed about 4.5 feet into the feature last night. That sucked. That's what I got for my weekend of hell.
I'm gonna drink it to. I'm gonna split it between Lance DeWeese and Anthony Macri. Lance DeWeese, what an awesome win! Jacked up for it. It was awesome. Also, I'm gonna drink it also to Dave Hare. We need more Dave Hare.
And he bought a shirt.
We need more Dave.
He loved it. He loved the cause. Just loved it.
He's one of the best announcers. And also Anthony Macri, man. I mean, just I'm sure probably want to get a couple more wins, but did what he needed to do to lock down 3 straight in a row.
Michaela gave that story back. And
just good job for holding Danny off. I mean, and drink it also to Danny, man. I mean, he's been on fire, and like I said, probably 80% of the time he would win a Speed Week title with the week that he had. And then also won Ohio Speed Week, obviously. So he's been on fire, him and that team. So, and then I'm gonna
Sorry, my fault.
No, you're good.
Okay.
And then just what was I gonna dump it to? I don't remember now. I don't remember. Dump it to nothing. Everything's great. Everything's great. Yeah. Go ahead. What were you gonna say, Jay-Z?
Pit reporting. We talked about this amongst our little group. Dave Hare is a magician. He is world class, fantastic. But I kind of want to try it sometime. Low pressure, see how it looks, see how
Announcing?
it sounds. I'd love to
Yeah.
try it. Not announcing, just pit
yeah.
reporting.
Pit reporting. Oh yeah, for
walk
sure.
up,
Yeah.
do an interview. That would be cool. I
Yeah.
don't know. It could be an absolute disaster, and I'll be like, don't ever show my face on TV again. But I don't know. I think I think I'm a good observer of what's going on, and I think it could be. I think I could be good at that. I think it'd be fun to try sometime.
So anybody listening out there that would want to get Jay-Z as a pit reporter, keep it in mind because he would be. I also think that you would be good at it. That was
I
something.
heard McGrew Bid is hiring on Friday nights. Or Latrobe Saturday night.
Oh
yeah, baby, go there. There's no AC. Latrobe.
That's who I want to dump it to. I want to dump it to Alex Robinson because he was
No.
getting literally cooked.
I don't want to be the announcer of the racetrack. No.
They don't know the difference. It's fine.
There's no difference.
You just go above in his box. There's no ventilation, and you get cooked.
Grab the
It's
microphone.
amazing.
just grab it.
They don't even pay you probably.
All right. Let's go through some fan ones here. Brandon
Tyler
Zerk.
Murray, yes, that's a formal request.
Trick it to the PA fans for packing the stands all week. Dump it to Tyler Walker and the 19R team. Wish they had a better week. I think they had a pretty decent week. I know it didn't go as exactly as they planned, but I think for him not being in a 410 and that being pretty much a brand new team, a whole new deal, I think they did pretty well. They showed, he was hard charger at Lincoln one night. They were fast at times. He pressed the hell out of me. I did not expect him to be as solid as he was, to be honest. I mean, nothing, just because I figured it would take him at least a couple of races, at least Speedweek, to get his feet underneath him, and I think he exceeded my expectations at least. So hopefully he gets an opportunity to keep going. I think it's a great story, and we'll see what happens here in the future. But I don't think it went. I mean, it didn't go great. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it was awful. But Steph, drink it to all Speedweek and the family and friends and time we had, and dump it to the rainouts and the wrecks. Randy Cobb, drink it to Lance winning at Port. Dump it to 2 rainouts during Speedweek. Michaela, her words were, "If you buy a shirt, I'll give you a thank you," and it worked. So drink it to Sarah for that. Yeah, and Tyler Murray said about Dave Hare's pit reporting on Friday night. That was kind of what sparked it. He was awesome. Mandy, drink it all the winners at all the tracks in all divisions. Tyler Walker racing in Central PA again. Lucas Wolf podium finish at Hagerstown. Great racing, especially at Port and Path. Lance's victory lane speech, meeting Chris and the legend that is Brett Perigo, meeting Steph and Matt. And then dump it, rainouts, general drama at Port and elsewhere, wrecked cars, great Hagerstown blackout of 2025, the fans getting hit at Sonoya, my bank account, and the drink I sprayed everywhere at Port trying to open it. Drink it to the Turn 2 Terrible, says Randy Cobb. Thank you so much for that. Tyler Koenig, dump it to Rain, claiming 3 races during Speedweek, including my favorite race, Grandview. Drink it to 2 older guys winning this weekend, Lance at Port and John Kellner at Grandview. John came out of 11-year-old retirement last year. Super cool to see John win. That's pretty cool. Daniel Lee, drink it to an awesome time at Path Valley, pre-racing with T2T. Oh yeah, that was awesome. I love the van, by the way. I'm envious. You have a whole awesome setup. I love it. Just perfect for a thing like Speedweek or something like that. You just go from track to track, Dump it to the mechanical woes for Cody Hartleb and Troy Wagaman. Hope they are able to be back this weekend. Agreed. Samuel, drink it to Macri for the 3 feet. Dump it to the red flag for the medical emergency for the driver. I forget his name right now. That was Blaine Heimbach. That was a scary situation. Glad to hear that he is doing better. Hopefully we'll see him back at the track soon. But that was scary. That's it. That's all we got. We're closing in on 3 hours. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. It was a long one because
Christ.
it's been
Chris was
2
back.
weeks.
Chris is here and we got a 3-hour show.
Are you
Yeah.
fucking shitting me?
It's not Chris, it's Franklin. You never explained the Franklin. Why
I don't-
Franklin?
I don't know.
Who gave you Franklin?
Don't worry about it. 10 when you're older. We're done. It's a
We're
wrap.
done. Thank you guys. We'll be back.
If we don't end it, we're gonna need a fuel stop. It's gonna piss everybody off.
We'll be back next Monday. And hopefully see you guys at Clinton County and Lincoln Report. Have a good one.